What's up, y'all? It's dark. Okay, so we're getting ready to get started. I have a super special guest today. A lot of you know him as Babyface P, who has his own very successful channel, yet is also well known on the every Monday on the Hank Strange Who Stole My Freedom podcast. So go ahead and hang tight because we are about to get started. All right, so as I said, very special guest, Mr. Babyface P.
Hello.
What up? How's it going, man?
It's going great.
Awesome. Yes, Techno Man, you are on time for a change. Let me go through and just say what's up. Techno Man, Lego Man, Opie, Flying Rich, Masses, what up? Usually we have a whole slew of people waiting in here early. I guess they're not used to me going live close to on time.
It's we're 20 minutes out. We're 20 minutes after.
Yeah, not too bad, right? Yeah, man. So introduce yourself to the folks. Tell them who you are and what you do.
YouTube. I always preface youtube.com/babyfaceP is where you can find me. Mostly, I do post a little bit on Instagram at baby_faceP. I started YouTube, so I've been friends with Hank Strange for a long time, 5-6 years now, and he kept pushing me to do YouTube stuff, and I never really wanted to. I always was kind of helping him behind the scenes. And then finally, about a year ago, maybe a little more, maybe almost 2 years ago, I finally started getting serious about producing content. I kind of, the way I kind of put it is I got tired of being a consumer. I felt like all I was doing when it came to media was just consuming. So I wanted to start one, I'm super opinionated. Well, like all of us, I'm super opinionated.
Yeah.
I'm kind of unabashedly opinionated for the most part. So I wanted to put myself out there. So I started producing content mostly around building firearms. So if you're looking for something to be built, if I haven't done it before on camera, I may have done it off camera, and I have a whole library collection under my desk of like gunsmithing, gun stuff, how to build this, how to put this together.
Nice.
I wanted to make myself in the grand zombie apocalypse, I'd be the most valuable member of a team because I have the machine shop downstairs where I can make anything that your mind that you desire, anything at all.
Dude, that's awesome.
that's always been my goal.
So what kind of what's up, Shooting Gallery New England?
Hey.
Yeah. What kind of stuff have you built?
Okay, so I started. Okay, so I've always been a tinkerer. Let's say that I've always been a tinkerer, and in my before I started YouTube, I did a lot of AR building, which is not really building. It's like Legos. You're just kind of piecing things together, and
it's like assembling.
Yeah, it's torquing things to spec. So I built my first AK and did a write-up on Reddit guns. I used to be really prolific on there, on Reddit/guns. And I did a full write-up on how all the tools you needed, and it was pretty good. It was popular. People still refer back to it. But trying to explain how to do small detail things or like, it's very difficult to do it in writing. I envy anybody that can write well, because it's really tough to show like step by step how to build up, especially like an AK. So my first big series that I think kind of took off was I had already built 4 or 5 AKs at that point. I have the tools, I have a garage, I have a machine shop in the garage. So my first big series was building a East German AK. Nice. So I bought of all people, I bought a parts kit from Brandon Herrera, the AK guy. And we built that one on video. And it has kind of become the stock reference series for, there's one other guy, Ginsboy 889 or something like that is his name. He's the one that I actually I watched his videos to build my first AK. But my series has kind of become the stock, like, how do you build an AK? What goes into it? That whole 10-part series shows you the tools you use, the methods for doing things. And there's the interesting thing with AKs is you can go up or down either direction. You can go for a bench top build where you do everything with a hammer and a file. And then I'm kind of middle of the road because I have a lot of tooling. And then from up there, you can always go to AK Builder and buy every perfect tool you need. So everything has its own. But I've always I've always tried to build myself as the builds that people can do without spending an arm and a leg on tooling. I have a lathe, I have a welder. So that's a little bit outside of a lot of people's comfort zones. But like my first AK build was like, what can you, like, how do you build this on a bench top? How do you build it without, I don't have a crap load of tools. I built my AKs in apartments. My last apartment, before we bought our house, I built my first like 3 AKs in the townhome.
Nice.
So it's totally possible. Any of that's possible. And I try to like tell people like, that's exactly what you can do that. Yeah. If people in communist bloc countries in the 60s could put these things together, you absolutely can in your garage. Like, you have the tools.
Well, I always say, like, look at like the Philippines, right? Like, they're literally in
hand-fitting 1911s. It's insane.
Yeah, and like Khyber Pass.
See, that's what really. There's a really interesting channel out there called Khyber Armory. Have you ever heard of that?
Yep.
Oh God, watching them make stuff. Sometimes I'm enthralled with how they're making things, and sometimes I am scared shitless. I watched them make 545 one time. Because everything in the Middle East is 7.6239. That's pretty much all they have. Yeah. They've been, over the last 10 years, they've been getting a lot more 545 in. So they started making handmade 545 in those fucking cases. Like, you're watching them hammer out the cases by hand. They have like crimped necks and it is so the powder. They make their own powder. Black. I don't know how they make smokeless powder there, but they do it. Watching them put those rounds together, some of the bullets are kind of off kilter, and I'm just like, I'm not that daring. I'm not that daring.
Dude, did you see the I think it was Khyber Armory, or maybe it was like a spin-off, right? But it was a channel that was similar, at least. And it was like a factory, so 10 guys in a room.
Yeah, exactly.
Of dudes with Dremels and dudes with files, and they were cranking out Glock 19X clones. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that particular video, but I've seen the cloning that they're doing of Glocks right now. It's unbelievable. They look like a factory Austrian Glock. It's crazy.
It's kind of scary. And especially being that, like, you know, when like I did a stream where I made a large firework. Okay. And I was mixing potassium nitrate and sulfur and magnesium, and I wore a mask because I was explaining, you know, particulates and things like that. To breathe, it's dangerous. Even if you're, you know, working with metals and files and, you know, all sorts of things like that, you got to be careful. These dudes are in there, you know, literally shaving away like pounds and pounds of steel and aluminum, like just like, like,
shirtless,
oh my God.
In flip-flops made out of old tires.
Yes. Like,
absolutely.
I could not believe it. Zach Carr of Toxic Patch Co. Just send a super chat. Thank you, brother. I actually rocked this shirt today.
I have a whole set of patches around here from Toxic that
nice.
Where they are. I gave a bunch to my wife. She liked all the donut ones. Anything that has strawberry frosted donut with sprinkles is her like favorite aesthetic. So,
bro, so funny enough, my daughter actually picked it.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So I also got this lighter. Now I want you guys to take a really close look at this lighter, because this lighter has become pretty famous on our channel, because this is the lighter that I've put in every single video where I have used one of my fireworks that
Oh,
I've
okay.
made.
Okay.
And
Have
you
you
may see it in some merch coming up.
so have you gotten any knocks from any officials going, "Why are you buying all these chemicals?"
Not yet.
Okay.
I do most of it. I'd say about half of it is for like binary target uses, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Um,
what's that? Aluminum powder and no, iron powder? Aluminum powder? It's one of the
oh
two.
yeah, aluminum powder. Yep,
Aluminum powder, yeah.
aluminum powder and just pure calcium ammonium nitrate.
Yep.
And here's more of John Crump's money. I didn't even
Hmm.
see that. That's awesome. His Amazon money. And the other one is they call it flash powder, but it's typically what fireworks are made out of.
Hmm.
But it's also what they use for flash bangs too. Typically, they use 5 grams of it for flash bangs, and it is legal as long as you follow all federal, state laws,
Hmm.
rules, regulations, and restrictions,
Yeah.
and make sure that if you do make it, you consume it. And if somebody does choose to make them, then make sure you follow your state stuff. And I'm not a lawyer, and consult someone else. But yeah, no knocks yet, because technically everything that I'm doing is legal, and I am exceptionally clear about that when I do stuff on
Hmm.
online.
See if I can get
Yeah.
myself in focus. I don't know why my camera's going out of focus. That maybe.
I always enjoy tinkering with stuff that goes pow,
Yeah.
but I also like tinkering with stuff that goes boom. Have you ventured into that world at all?
Not I know enough about it. I will not show off. When we go dark after this, I will show off some very interesting books that I have that are not. They're not like it's not the. I do have a copy of the Anarchist Cookbook, but that's not what I'm talking about. I have
Yeah,
some
yeah.
very interesting things that were sent to me by a friend that
Nice.
are not. You can't just find them at Barnes and Noble
Yeah,
about all sorts of explosives and how to remove bridges and how to do very interesting things. Um,
nice. Yeah,
but
it's
no,
always interesting.
the part of my channel, part of why I do this shit that I do is to show people just how conceptually simple it all is.
Yeah.
All of it, the world we live in is not that complex. The people will try to make you think that it is, but it all comes back to very basic chemistry, basic metallurgy, basic machining.
Yeah.
You build those steps up, and you can make anything that you put your mind to.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I always say simplicity is the highest level of sophistication
it is, and
because
that's why I loved when I started getting into AKs. They're simple. They're simple machines. They're very very simple machines. They're easy to diagnose if something is doing something weird.
yeah,
They're very 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 simple machines, and that's what kind of why I like them.
yeah.
But
What
yeah,
other
no,
kind of
it.
stuff have you built?
Oh gosh. So I have a Crink. I built a Crink. I have an MP5 that I just finished.
Nice.
I have 2 set me parts kits that I haven't started on yet because the last time I worked on them, I had to trash a whole receiver. It was before I built the MP5, so I didn't really know what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I just got so frustrated with it, I threw a whole receiver away, like a flat that I
Oh,
had bent,
that's a
and then
shame.
bought a new one. So I haven't worked on that in like 2 years. It's been sitting in the garage. What else? What else? A couple. I've probably built at this point 7 or 8 AKs, mostly in 7.62. I built
Nice.
one, my Crankin 545.
Okay.
I've done a lot of gunsmithing on pistols. I've worked my own 1911 up, so I have the chops to kind of do 1911 smithing.
Hell yeah. You're
Clocks.
really not gonna like my crank.
Okay.
Do you want to guess what caliber it's in?
7.62 39, isn't it?
No.
5.56.
Yeah.
I would take that. No. That's closer to 5.45 than it is to the 7.62 crinks are not crinks. I
Yeah.
just get
No.
that
No.
shit out of here.
Like the Sam 7
Yeah,
cranks.
that's not a
Like, dude,
crink. That's not
it's
a
an
crink.
AK with a like shrunken handguard. Like,
Hold on
come
here.
on.
Since I can't touch it, but there you go. So that one, that's my it's a Tula 92 Tula parts kit.
Nice, man. That's
And
awesome.
that thing on top is something that I'm working on. I'm trying to get a red dot mount
Okay.
designed for it, but No, I do a lot of. Recently, what else? I built a 1903 Springfield. I just finished that one a couple months ago. That one was fun.
Nice. That's dope.
But no, it's yeah. I always try to put it out there. Like, you put your mind to it. If you really want to build something, you can build anything. There was a Boy Scout back in the '90s who built a nuclear bomb out of smoke detectors. Because there's nuclear material. That's how smoke detectors work. They have a tiny bit of radioactive material in it. And he went digging through garbage cans and through the dump and found enough smoke detectors to irradiate half a neighborhood. And they had to like clear the houses, take the project. Yeah, he was trying to make a power supply, a nuclear power supply.
Wow.
And yeah, they had to. He got in a little bit of trouble because you can't do that in your neighborhood.
I need to find that kid.
It's very interesting story. If you look it up, like Boy Scout makes a nuke, it'll come up. It's a very big story from, I think it was from the late '90s.
Jeez.
But no, it just goes to show everything is simple. Everything out there is simple. If you just start from the groundwork, work your way up.
Yeah.
And then all the data. The great thing about the technical age that we're in is a little bit of back and forth. Most of the data you're looking for is out there on how to do things, how to build things, how to put stuff together, how chemical reactions work, all of it's out there.
Yeah.
Some people try to hoard, and this is another thing that I did with my channel. A lot of people try to hoard that data because it's valuable. Conceivably, you can make money off of training people to work on things, to build stuff.
For sure.
But to me, the money has never been as important as I've found myself where I want to. The best way that I can proliferate firearms ownership is by telling people, look, these machines are simple. You can do it in your garage. Fuck telling anybody what you're doing. It's yours. You're right. Do it. You know?
Yep. Well, and that's what I think the issues with like home builds and stuff like that, like people literally don't know that they're legal. And until like Polymer 80 and, 80% receivers started becoming, much more, available.
It's a kind of a pain in the ass that we're in the time we are now, because parts kits, especially looking at the AK market, between 2000 and 2010, AK parts kits were dirt fucking cheap.
Yeah.
And
like
that we've proliferated building, the parts kits are so expensive.
Well, and I think it's kind of like, we were destined to get to this point at some point.
Yep.
Even because, we're encouraging other people to build, right? And every time I build, family member reaches out to me and says, hey, I want to build this. And I say, okay, I'll build it, but I want to build it with you. I'm not just going to build it for you.
Yes.
I want you to be there. I want to teach you some things, and I'll only do it for you if then you go and teach somebody else, right?
Exactly.
Like build another, even if it's just a Glock or an AR. And admittedly, with AKs, I've only been a part of 2 or 3 AK builds. I've never actually built one myself.
Where are you located? What state are you in?
Virginia.
Yeah. If you ever find your way south here in Florida, you let me know. I can. If you have a parts kit, we'll put it together. It takes a rough finish of a parts kit. We can do in an afternoon, where it's shootable.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I tell a lot of people is you can do a lot of stuff quickly. The final 3 or 4% of like nice fitment is what takes most of the time.
Yeah, I figured. I actually had a viewer recently. Well, don't want to bring my laptop with me. A viewer recently sent me.
There you go.
These, right? So I'm basically ready, right?
So which ones do you have there? Those look like side folders.
So these they look like
no, that's just regular
fixed trunnions. Yeah, well, at least the pattern is set to be fixed trunnions. But we could put a blank pistol trunnion in there, drill like an 8mm hole, and then put like a Picatinny rail adapter, something like that.
That's the amazing thing about them is, and I have, and I know it's not in front of me, but my go-to rifle right now is a 11.5-inch SBR. It's decked out. It's got a PEC 15. It's got all the cool shit on it. But there's
that's right. You're a total nods nerd, right?
Recent. Within the last 3 months, I got it tonight.
Oh, dude. My whole squad just blew a load in their pants when they saw that.
It's don't start down the road. It is so expensive. And now my entire kit, like all of my rifles, I'm like, I should put a laser on that. What if I want to shoot that at night one time? I need a laser. And lasers are $1,500 and up.
Yeah,
Night vision base is $2,000. Your helmet, night vision is stupid expensive, but
yeah,
it's really cool. It's really, really cool.
It's kind of funny because like who is it, like Grantham in his I think it was Grantham, but it's basically like, do you enjoy seeing stuff? Oh no, it's, forgive me, I'm sorry, Daddy Flannel. It's God, who is the dude?
What's he do? What's he known for?
So the Gun Collective. When he advertises the night vision, he says, "Do you enjoy seeing stuff more than not seeing stuff?" I mean, it's something so simple, but it's something so.
It changes. I got to shoot at night for the first time 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'd been putting all the kit together. I've been getting parts for my pecs for the rifle, and so first time I went out to Hank's range, and a friend of mine and I went out, and he's had nods for probably about a year now. So we went out, we did some shooting under dark. It was 10 o'clock at night, and by that point, it was on a cloudy night, not a moonlit night. It was very, very dark out there. I was like, "Listen, hit the timer, pull your nods up, hit the timer, and then just kind of take this in for a second." So he did that. He put his nods up, pitch black, because you're used to seeing something, so your eyes are dilated.
Yep.
Puts his nods up, hits the button, and I'm like, okay, you hear the beep, tink, 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 three shots on, and I'm like, think of how terrifying that is for the enemy. Yeah, I can see you, I can put a laser beam on you, and I can kill you without you even knowing where it's coming from. It's scary. And unfortunately, we're getting to the point now where a lot of our enemies are becoming near peer. So Russia and China both have, they're not, I've talked to some people who know more about it than I do, but they're not quite as capable as we are. They're more on the Gen 2 side of things. They're not quite as clear and crisp and nice. But they're back in 2005 when we were invading Iraq or whatever. There are videos out there, dudes just waving around lightsabers on the end of their guns, because who the fuck cares? Nobody's going to be shooting back at them. You can't see it. Yeah. It's in the dark. It's invisible unless you have nods. Now you go doing that, and it's like, oh, there's a person right there. I know exactly where he is because there's a laser beam drawn right to his rifle. I know right where he's at.
Yeah.
But no, once you start getting to nods, it's like jumping the first jump into NFA when you start getting suppressors and whatnot, and I want every suppressor. Nods is now the next thing for me, where I'm like, fuck, now I need duals. I want dual tubes. Oh, I want to see what quads look like. I'd love to look at quads. Yeah, that's amazing. I don't have 40 grand, but quads would be dope.
Yeah, like I the way I kind of looked at it was like, okay, do I want to take this venture? Like, I could just get a PBS 14 and like white phosphorus, like and then like you start to inch in there, and then I thought about it and I was like, okay, this is kind of like when I made the decision to purchase a handgun for carry, right? It wasn't. Here, let me get back to it. Here, let me put my thing on pause real quick because we got a super chat and I also want to hit this question. So the goddamn bacon, thank you, brother. I appreciate the super chat. New sniper shot call, bang, Frieza. And thank you, friend. And where is it? We had a question too.
There was one about parts kits or something.
Yeah. Boom. Edge of the South. What's up, man? Do you guys think it would be worthwhile to make an AKV 521 out of a parts kit by doing some welding, cutting, and fabricating, or will Kalashnikov USA start making them?
What's that? I don't know what an AKV 521 is, first off.
AKV
521.
I'm not sure either.
New AKV 521 from Kalashnikov Group. This is a new rifle that the Russians have. Oh, this is their new. I don't think it's exactly the same, but it's like their brand new 545 gun that they're bringing out that has like a hinge top. It's pretty amazing. It's like a lower and an upper hinge, like an AR-15. It's got a unibody rail across the top, so the whole upper receiver. They've really like moved to the AR side of things because they realize like pick rails are awesome. Not
Yeah.
having a side mount is a total piece of shit. To answer the question, if you got the skills, absolutely. Well,
It
no,
is dope.
if you have the skills and you have the time, you can make anything work. To me, I don't know if I have the patience to try to make that work, because I guarantee if you were to find one of those parts kits, it's not a 74. The stuff that's inside of that is not basic 74. It's probably different.
Oh yeah.
Slightly different. They're beautiful guns, though. That is a cool ass gun.
Oh yeah, and it's kind of dope that like it's got the AKS 74U style rear trunnion with almost like a Zukov style stock
Yeah.
that actually latches into place.
Yes.
Like they did a good job with that, and kind of like an Ultimax style rail that looks like it runs all the way back with a peep sight that actually gives you a full
useful an actual. It looks like you mixed, because it also has that left side charging handle, which is why did we ever have a right side charging handle? It's never been.
I see that with a plate
left side charging,
similar to the,
and it has the the dust cover that moves like a galil.
Yep.
You can see that they've taken a lot of ideas from a lot of other countries to make one of these.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Super cool gun, though. But yeah, to answer that question, that would take a lot of work. I don't have the patience to try to make something like that work, personally.
Yeah.
But if you do, more power to you, absolutely.
It's like the Russian copied the SIG 550.
I got to look that up now. SIG 550. I'm not familiar with that one either. Oh, that's the SIG Commando. Yeah. It looks similar to a SIG Commando.
I have the SIG 556 SBR, the 10.5-inch, and that thing is
those
a
are
tank.
Cool guns.
Dude, it's so cool.
They're really cool guns. I had the opportunity to buy one years ago, and you look back, shoulda, woulda, coulda. You don't have money at the time. I was still working at my previous, 3 jobs ago. Not married, don't have one significant other, but making $20,000 a year. I couldn't afford an $1,100 rifle. That was a hugely expensive rifle for me at the time.
Dude, up here, the factory SBRs were going for $2,500.
See, that's what frustrates me, is they had 2 of them on the shelf. They had a green one and a black one. And they were used. That's why they wanted it was like $1,150, because the guy was consigning them to this local gun store.
Was it the pistol or the SBR?
These were full length, so the 5.51 maybe. It's the full size rifle.
Yep.
Gotcha. But man, it was just, I wanted it so bad, but there was no way I could spend. You look back on it, you're like, I couldn't have. That's like, I don't know, a couple months worth of rent. I could not have spent that on a rifle. There's no way.
Oh yeah. Let me see if I can show you what mine looks like. So this is the factory version of mine. This is the SWAT, they call it.
See, that's why I said you and I would get along just fine.
Oh, dude. So
Glowies. I know exactly what that is. There's an awesome T-shirt out there about running them over, and I would love to get. I don't know where I could find that T-shirt, but there's a really awesome one about it.
So I could get my hands on that T-shirt for you. So our community is called Glowies.
Okay,
like, that's what we all call each other.
I hope everybody knows where that comes from.
A lot of them.
R.I.P. Terry Davis.
Yeah. So not I would say not everybody, but a lot do. Most of them just like they pick up the word on the internet. And guys,
nowadays it's common vernacular for spooks
exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny because like, so we have it's a whole thing. Maybe we'll get into it later. But this is kind of where the blue chem light came from, because it was kind of a play on a joke that like, okay, what do? We have this, big community of people that are all awesome people. Like, if needed, if like full world without rule of law situation came into play, how do we distinguish one another from each other?
Blue chem lights are your thing?
Blue chem lights.
Well, I'm going to have to stock up on a couple just in case I'm out there, the zombies come after me and somebody sees a blue chem light, they'll be like, that's a good dude right there. Yeah, rip in peace, but that's a good dude.
Yeah. Like you turn a corner and someone's like,
2 blue chem lights.
Lower their rifle. Let him pass. let him pass. Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of just
You better watch out. You're going to get on. Blue Kim lights are going to become part of the what's the Anti-Defamation League (ADL). They're going to have a post for Blue Kim lights soon.
Probably, man. I totally believe it.
Boogaloo Boys and Pepe the Frog are on there. Blue Kim lights will be next.
Oh God bless America. That's terrible. So you're like a total Chan surfer.
It's bad. It's bad. A couple. So I don't have my own name on K. I'm not necessarily a full-fledged commando. Like Tack Daddy, Flannel Daddy he's got. If he posts, you know who it's coming from because he's got his own little hash on there. I'm not quite to that level yet, but no, I browse BK and Pole pretty regularly.
Yeah,
those are my go-tos.
That's pretty nuts. What's up, BWE?
The thing I've told people before, because when you tell somebody, oh yeah, I go on 4chan all the time, a lot of people give you a look of like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like that place is evil. It's pure and you're like, my explanation to people a lot of times has been, up until really recently, I know when I go on poll, I know exactly the slant that they're coming with. It's not like watching CNN or MSNBC where they're trying to pretend like, oh, I don't believe this. This is what you should believe. Yeah. When I go on poll, I know exactly what I'm going to be getting because I know exactly what most of the users on there, the way they lean. So when I read a news article and a lot of times for anybody that's not aware, poll breaks news way quicker than Twitter even can, way really fast. Whenever I see something pop up on there, I know the slant it's coming from. I know where it's coming out of. So I know kind of whatever they're saying about it, take it with 2 cents and read the article myself to figure out my own opinion. But that's the reason it's more raw news. To me, it's always more raw. I can go find it. I can find the article. I can go back to the sources and then I know what's coming out instead of having the media slant that comes along with everything today.
Yeah, and I think that like even alt media, like even just looking for information on like YouTube, like you never truly know. Yeah. So I've found too that like anything that's open source, where you basically have really loosely a large team of people looking for information and sharing it for like that's like we used to have a Discord of almost 700 people. When Dugan was like, active and not, he's gone back to, spend time with his family and that's all he's doing. He'll never return. And we had almost 700 people that were doing research for stuff. Like, I mean, dude, when the whole George Floyd thing happened, like we knew all the cops' names before they were released. We knew
never underestimate the power of internet autism.
My goodness.
The people, the best example that I found was, were you part of, or do you remember the He Will Not Divide Us flag sagas?
No.
Oh my God. Shia LaBeouf.
Yes.
The sagas of Shia LaBeouf. If anybody out there is not aware, Shia LaBeouf, when Trump got elected, made this art piece because, artists have to do this stupid shit art pieces that's really gonna, bring the troops together. He's making the dumbest fucking art pieces I can come up with. He had this art piece where he put a camera on a wall that was broadcasting 24/7 and a flag next to it. And the idea was for the next 4 years, we're gonna have somebody standing in front of that camera saying, "He will not divide us," constantly. Well, 4chan figured out where it was and started spamming the shit out of it with Pepe memes, people showing up and screeching, people doing dumb shit in front of it. So he took the camera, moved it, and put up a flag that said, "He will not divide us." And had a camera looking at this flag. Well, it only took about 48 hours for 4chan to realize where that flag was, and somebody went and stole it. So he took it down again and put it up in bumfucking nowhere, Tennessee. Yet it was found again within like 6 days. They figured out where it was because a couple of dudes watched the video stream, saw the trails of the airplanes, triangulated. Oh, that flying over right now alive. That can only be these 4 airplanes crossing paths right now. It's in this general like 2 mile area. Then they had a dude drive in circles honking the horn until they could hear it. And then they found it. It took that shit down again. And then finally the 4th saga he won because he posted it up on some building where nobody else can get to it.
Yeah.
But no, the power of internet autism is incredible. It's the most amazing things.
The fact that they used stars,
Yeah.
airplanes,
Yes.
and the honking of a horn
to find it.
Everyone's like, hold on, like, Mom, I'm busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it. You know, like, dude, that kills me. That kills me.
The stories, the best, like, see, that's the stuff that you live for when you go on 4chan a lot, is you find those little things that you see and you're like, I was there for that. I was part of that. That was worth the kid that found I was never part of this one, but that guy that found a grenade and people were like, throw it in your toilet. And then he went dark and I found a news article 2 days later of a guy that like blew the apartment building apart because he literally threw a grenade. It turned out to be true. Everybody thought he was screwing around, but he was in like some Eastern European country, found a grenade, put it down his toilet, and blew the walls out of his apartment building.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Did he live?
The stories like that is what I enjoy finding on 4chan because you never know when they're going to pop up.
Yeah, that's crazy. Do you know? Did the dude live?
I never found out. I don't remember.
That's crazy.
There's the fun stuff like He Will Not Divide Us, and then you never know what you're going to come across. There's some pretty raunchy stuff on there.
Yeah, there's some dark shit in there.
The thing, did someone just say fucking grenade in the toilet? Yeah, exactly.
What's that?
OP7 said grenade in a toilet. Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Talking about.
It's crazy.
But it's just the rawness of it is what. There are certain things that I take away from it. So 30 thirsty cult. Yeah.
I also blow toilets.
You guys want a quick story? I'll give you a quick story. So my wife and I went to Steak and Shake tonight for dinner. And as I'm picking up our food from the counter, because Steak and Shake is now at least our Steak and Shake in Gainesville, you order at a kiosk and then they bring it to the counter and you take it.
Okay.
This guy that had been waiting on his food, I came back and I had to tell my wife about it. Ordered 2 hot dogs and a massive plate of like a full size thing of chili fries. And I was like, I came back to my wife. I was like, his toilet, he's gonna shit a hole straight down through the middle of the earth. Like that's unbelievable.
Oh man.
But no, when it comes to 4chan, you get reminded of kind of the best parts of humanity for joyous things like He Will Not Divide Us. But you also, if you go on B and into Rect threads, you see the shit that humans can do to each other. And for me, it reminds me that there is like true evil out in the world. There are truly evil people out there that do horrific things to good people all the time.
Well, do you remember like Best Gore?
What was that? Yeah, exactly. Best Gore, the NCY or whatever, all those sites.
Yeah.
Gore doesn't tend to bother me. I've kind of become desensitized to it, I guess, from seeing it for years. But it reminds me that you need to look after yours and your own. You need to watch out for people around you because there is bad in this world. There are truly bad people out there that are just looking to fuck your day up. That's it.
Yeah.
No, it keeps you, it reminds me of what humanity is truly like. Americans live in this bubble that we think everything is rainbows and sunshine and that's all going to be perfect. Let the government take care of it. It's like, nah, there's evil out there. There are bad people out there looking to do bad things constantly.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Shred Wizard says, I saw on poll that A-10 gunships would perform landing exercises on a civilian highway. Tell my coworker they call bullshit. Then I pointed a TV and Fox is running the story.
I'm telling you, that's the brilliance of it is you go on there and you're like, tomorrow midday, because I browse mostly at night before bed. I'm like, tomorrow, that's going to be headline news right there. What they're talking about right here, headline news.
Yeah.
All the pictures for Hunter Biden. You want to find any of his Wang pics? 4chan's got them, guaranteed.
Yeah. We have a guy that comes on here and he doesn't show his face, but he keeps like memes and stuff playing in the video while he does it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, there's like he is a Chan like surfer all day every day, like hardcore. And he's just playing footage of Hunter, like, literally just like, cooking a pipe. And It's crazy. The stuff that is available is nuts.
Nobody talks about it. It's not the news story right now is he's selling $500,000 paintings, which a chimp in a zoo could make. But we're not talking about him talking to his brother's ex-wife while smoking a crack pipe. That's not, because that video's out there. That's not newsworthy.
No, of course not.
So yeah, this is why I guess when I saw you and CRS talking sometimes, and you were talking to some people in the chat, I was like, I think we would get along very well. I think I would fit in here pretty well.
Yeah. So just out of curiosity, like what do you remember what it was that kind of made it click? Or because kind of CRS and I are he probably wouldn't have a problem with me saying this, but he thinks about some things very similarly, but he just doesn't really talk about it. Whereas like for me, it may appear that him and I are like, polarized when we're on a chat together, but I mean, he's not too far from us. But anyway, so what was it that kind of made you like, okay, that seems like a cool show that I could get on?
You guys were live streaming about something, Rand. I don't remember what it was. And I don't necessarily, I'm not the type of person that'll tune in for a full 2 hours of live streaming. I'll jump in while I'm doing other things. I'll listen a little bit in the background. But somebody had mentioned who that person thought ran the media, I think. Something like that. Yeah. And there were some agreements amongst that opinion. And I was like, okay, I see. I get that.
Gotcha.
Key, who runs the media?
yeah. I've been in trouble a couple times.
Absolutely. See the things that you're not allowed to talk about on the internet. And
of course.
God forbid I ever run for politics, because somebody will find this and go, "Oh my God, you're terrible."
Oh man, yeah. Like after I was just talking to a friend about this yesterday, I was like, man, that video yesterday got like 6,000 views. Like, if my channel starts to grow too much, I'm gonna have to delete a lot of videos.
It's a game that people play, and I've tried to never do that with my channel, because I've never wanted to, when it comes to YouTube or popularity or being on the internet or whatever, I've never wanted people to think that I'm in it for the money, or in like I will give anybody a good opinion if they pay me. Like there are a lot of those figures out there, and I know a lot of them personally, who you put something in their hand and say, here's $5,000, and they'll go, okay, this is the best thing I've ever had in my hand. This thing's wonderful. And I've never wanted to do that. I've always tried, and I know if you don't play by certain people's rules, by their games, you'll never probably rise to the top. And for me, I'll never be a multi-million subscriber channel. It's just never going to happen.
Oh yeah.
My thing is, if I ever hit 100,000 subscribers, I will be happy turning my channel off the next day if I had to. That's always been my goal. 100,000 subscribers, I feel like I've made it on YouTube. With that number, I feel like I could do anything.
Yeah.
26,000 is more than I can't even believe I got to that point. But
yeah, I mean that's a big accomplishment though. That's
it's and I feel weird because YouTube wants you to toe the line and not give your opinion if it's a certain opinion. If you were on the left, the extreme far left, saying crazy things about, I'm not even going to give examples because that'll get us kicked off real fast. You would be embraced by YouTube. Your channel would be promoted. You would be at the top of the search results. You'd have no issues. But when you talk about something that is constitutionally guaranteed, and the Constitution doesn't, by the way, for anybody that doesn't wear, the Constitution doesn't give you the right. The Constitution stops the government from working against that right. That right is given to you by your creator, whoever that is for you. Your Constitution doesn't grant you anything. But yeah, to think that a company, again, for anything that I do is far and above more legal than most of the shit that you'll see on here.
Yeah.
There's a extremely popular channel about a dude who takes drugs constantly. And you know what? I'm more libertarian in a lot of my views. If you want to do hard crack in your pastime, I don't fucking care as long as you're not Hunter Biden, and then I'll make fun of you. But those channels get pushed to the top. I can search for what does meth feel like, and I will find this guy's channel that's at the top because he used to be a meth addict.
Yeah.
Or Vice News. Vice News has a guy that literally all he does is go around and talk about drugs, which are, I mean, for the most part, illegal. And again, we can discuss, like, I could argue whether it should or shouldn't be. That's a different topic. But what I do in my garage is 100% legal and constitutional. And if I ever were to step outside that line, I would have a knock on my door so fast with somebody saying, you need to come to court. You did something wrong.
Yeah.
Where other things are totally cool. Totally cool, whatever you want.
It's literally to the point where, let's say you have two people, and these two people make two videos, and you just using YouTube as an example, they use the same exact words. Mm-hmm. They use the same exact, like, everything is the same. However, one is about something that the, favored chosen people are okay with, and one is about no stuff that, like firearms, and like you said, and you're speaking my language, our mm-hmm. language, where, these rights are given to you just simply for being a human.
Yes.
Right? They're, supposedly guaranteed by the Constitution, which is a restriction on government. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't know that. And you hear all the time, like, even I, in that recent video that I just dropped, I had said something along like, your Second Amendment rights. And I was like, shit, like that. I slip into shit that, like, is just typically said by people.
Absolutely.
But I guess my point, though, is that these two people make the same video saying the same shit. The chosen ones will be amplified. It will be shared. It will be jumped on. I mean, it's crazy. And then the other will be squashed, will have a knock on their door from the ATF. But it's nuts, like, where we are right now with inequality.
You also, if you want to grow, and I'm not going to tell you how to grow because I don't know the secret. CRS knows more about the secret than I do because obviously when I first met him, when I first talked to him, he was at 20. He was right above me, 26, 27,000 subscribers. And he's gone. Can you see the dog? Okay, you can't see the dog.
I can hear the dog.
Hey, he's sneezing like crazy back there. Now he looks, hold on. He looks very, very, where is he? There he is. He looks very guilty back there for sneezing.
Yeah. Bless you. Natural rights are based. Absolutely thirsty.
Yeah. You have to kind of figure out what I've done for myself, and I'm not going to tell anybody else how to grow. What I've done for myself is I know how I feel about certain things, what I want to get into. I try not to be a pot stirrer. I try not to get into drama.
Yeah.
All that stuff is not for me. And again, CRS, he's made his numbers and he makes his money off that. So I'm not going to shit on him for it. But for me, it's not what I do. I have no interest in getting into politics as much as possible. Like, coming on things like this, I'll talk my politics and opinions, but I try not to do that on my main channel. And I try not to get into drama. I try not to, like, call out other YouTubers. It's not who I am as a person. And if I went out there and I started making drama videos a couple times a week, I would gain a shit ton of followers. I guarantee, putting stupid shit out there like that. But it's just not what I do. It's not the ethos that I want to put out to the universe. It's not like because again, you got to remember, you're producing this, and whatever you produce gives people a certain feeling, a certain energy. Yeah. It's not what I like to put out. I don't like putting negativity out there as much as possible.
I totally agree. And if you are going to do, anything like this to any degree on any platform, it's like, you got to be authentic to yourself. And
that's the amazing thing that I found is a lot of people, when they start a YouTube channel, go, I'm going to be the next so-and-so. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's too late. That person already has that niche. He is the so-and-so. You're not going to be Flannel Daddy. It's just not going to happen. Yeah. You find your niche and you work on that, and people that like you will tune in because they like you, they agree with you, they fit into your ecosystem, And
they may just like you, and they may like the way that you deliver information.
Exactly.
The moment that you change, like to try to be something else, or like the majority of our content initially was very, conspiracy driven, right? It
Mm-hmm.
was like, guys, here is what we believe is really going on with the world. And then it was like, okay, here is like, we know that one day we're going to reach a point where we don't have control of our water, of our food, of our shelter, of our security. Like all of those things are on a switch by the government. So what
100%.
can we do?
There's a
And
great series, and it's not under my desk, by a guy that I know. I wouldn't call him a friend, but I know him. He's an acquaintance. Going Home, the entire Going Home series,
mm,
fantastic series of books, and it rings true to me because he lives in Ocala, which is just south of here, and his character. Basically, the first book, he starts out taking a business trip to Tallahassee, which is 2 hours, 3.5 hours north of where he is in Ocala. Big blast, nuclear blast goes off that knocks out all the power in the entire country. The world goes dark.
damn.
And the first book is called Going Home because it's this idea of his car, nothing works, everything's dead. And it's no, it's not Oedipus. What's the name of oh shoot, I can't think of it. Oh Brother Art Thou is a series is like that, and Cold Mountain is the same thing. I can't think of the name of the Greek mythology, but it's based on this concept of traveling and coming back to your home location.
Yeah.
But it's the whole premise of the book is this idea that our world teeters on very small switches like that.
Yep.
Power goes out for 2 weeks. I'm telling people, and people may not want to see this. New
Odysseus.
York City, New York State. Let's make it a little bit bigger. If power were to go out in New York State for 2 weeks,
Ooh,
people would be eating each other in the streets.
literally.
And I'm not being facetious. They
Yeah.
would be murdering each other in the streets to get what little supplies are around there.
Likely in
100%.
less than 2 weeks. I mean, they can't.
I always say 2 weeks because I give it a little bit of wiggle room. But
Yeah.
no, absolutely. Probably less than 2 weeks.
So it's interesting because one of the things that we typically say is we are in this world, in this life of pure consumerism, and
Yes.
we are stuck in convenience. And as a result of being in convenience, it appears as if it's like a veil of freedom, but the moment that you move the veil, it's a brick wall.
It is.
Right.
It is. It's the Odyssey, by the way, is the Greek story. If anybody's familiar with the Odyssey, this idea of traveling about and coming back home.
Like the original Odyssey
Homer's The
book?
Odyssey.
Oh, wow.
Lots of stories, by the way. If you've never, I've recently come to realize that my favorite stories are all based on the flow of the Odyssey. Cold Mountain, which again, I have property in North Carolina based on where Cold Mountain is located, which good movie, based in the Civil War. Fantastic. One of my favorite book. If you've never read Cold Mountain, anybody out there should give it a read. Very, very good book based on that whole Odyssey of coming home. The Coming Home series is another Odyssey type book. The movie that just came out 1917 about the World War I, the character.
Yeah.
That's another one based on the Odyssey. It's his journey.
Yeah.
You could say loosely that like Lord of the Rings maybe is kind of an Odyssey story because of all the traps along the way. But any of those books and stories that are based on the plots of the Odyssey, the plot points of the Odyssey, favorite stories out there. I love those. Like you come across hardship, how do you fight through it to get to the next piece along the way?
Yeah, and that actually was a good movie. I thought it would actually develop into a little bit more, but like Fury, for an example. Like,
yes,
I was way impressed. Different, right? Different. Mm-hmm. Completely right. Like their journey was really going home, right? Like
see, the journey stories like that are always what like they grip me and they bring me in. Anytime you have and anybody out there that wants to look, there's a whole lot of books and stories and movies and whatnot based on the premise of the Odyssey. You can go look those up, and they're all. Every time you look on that list, every single one of them, you're like, God damn, those are always good. That's a good book. That's a really good movie.
Yeah.
But going back to your point about bringing back the veil, it's true that we have our lives are very comfortable and we feel the way that we are. You feel like nothing could ever change. It's just not possible. Somebody's going to step in. The government will step in. So this person, the state politics, they'll step in and fix it. It'll never go to shit. And you're like, you look how deep that veil goes. It's shallow. It's very
hanging
shallow.
by a thread.
Very shallow.
Like,
I'm telling you, power's out for 2 weeks in a metropolitan area. People will be eating each other alive.
Dude, when I woke up, well, hold on real quick. So Zach Carr, I'm so sorry.
Sorry. Yeah,
like 10 minutes ago. No, it's all good. It was me. I could talk all day. He said
that's my problem too. Is
days.
I can go on for hours.
Yeah. Zach Carr, thank you for the super chat, brother. The good old days of someone knocking over a card rack in NYC and watching it live. Oh, not knocking over, like robbing. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. And then there's a quote here too. Sport Brand says, "We wear clothes and speak and create civilizations and believe we are more than wolves. But inside us, there is a word we cannot pronounce, and that is who we are."
People, yeah. There's so many things that we could talk about. It's kind of hard to, in one sitting, talk about all of it. But I'll generalize when I say this. The left tends to think that civilization has moved on from evil. Civilization has moved on from people being ruthless and being wolves. That's not a thing anymore. You don't need guns because civilization has moved beyond that. That's not needed.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to it, humans are the same we've always been. We're not. You can change a little bit as you grow into, I'm used to having internet now. I'm used to having power. 60 years ago, I could have grown up on a farm with that. No, 60 years ago would have been the 1960s. I always try to think of 60 years from 2000.
That's crazy.
Have you discussed that before? This concept of, so my wife and I were both millennials. I'm 32. She's 29. For us, anytime I make a reference to so many years ago, I don't know why, but it's always from the year 2000. So when I say, to me, the 1980s, that was like 25 years ago.
Yeah.
But no, it was like 45 years ago.
Yeah. No, I'm an 80s baby. But I'm with you though. Like I'm only a couple years. I'm within a couple years of you.
But you look back and we're used to our small things now. But humans evolutionarily, we don't change. There is still a drive for the primal things that are within us. People wonder, oh my God, why can Republicans and Democrats, why do we have groups? Why do we have in-groups and out-groups? It's like, that's hardwired into us. Yep. That's not something you can just change in
it's 1,000 years. It's the community piece that's like built into.
It's hardwired into our brains as to process in-groups and out-groups. And you stay away from that out-group because they're not part of the in-group. They're dangerous, The tribalism is something that psychologically is in us, and there's no getting rid of it. And that's the same for when it comes to things like the wolf reference. That is in all of us. It just is a matter of what does it take to get you to that. Everybody has a limit. I promise you. Everybody, no matter how sweet and loving they are, everybody has a limit. It's just a matter of how far you have to go before you find that limit where somebody snaps and bad things happen.
So that is exactly why we kind of transition to focusing on self-sustainability, right? Exactly. What's the solution? And, the solution is, okay, if you don't have control of, your water, your food, your shelter, your security, and even for like the whole consumerism thing, the world of guns has been brought into consumerism. Like it is just as filthy and dirty as all the other ones. And the only reason that we have guns is because they let us. And or so there's something way more maniacal, way more just evil that is lurking. And I keep thinking that like in my lifetime, something is going to happen. And I've been, what most people would call a prepper, I call living, for about 10 years, close to 10 years. And, I've constantly been of this mindset of something is going to happen to where I do not have access to the most important things that I need to sustain myself, and my family. And I want to make sure that I prepare for as much as I can. And I'm still on the journey myself. Like, even though we have a YouTube channel about it, like we're all on the journey together, right? Even making small changes here and there. But if even just prepping, that shit will run out, right? Even just, unless we're making actual renewable uh, self-replenishing, getting the control back of the resources, which is made almost impossible in the lifestyle that we in the times.
I don't know about your guys' laws in Virginia. Here in Florida, it's illegal to collect rainwater.
Yeah,
let that sink in. It is illegal for you to have a barrel collecting rainwater for your use.
Yep.
What better example do you need than that?
And you know why? Because it is getting you off of municipal water, and it's water that hasn't been treated with aluminum runoff, fluoride. Yeah. It's crazy. And, I don't know how far we want to go into it in this conversation, which is kind of why I'm treading a little lightly, but
a good example of this. And this is a light example. And okay, before I say that, a lot of people, when you say that you are a prepper, they tend to think that you are preparing for the end of the world. And that's not necessarily the case. We here in Florida get hit by hurricanes multiple times a year. We have one. We have a tropical storm down just north of Cuba right now that'll be here in a couple days. Conceivably, and it's happened. My wife lived through Andrew. She's from South Florida. She lived through Andrew, and they didn't have power for like a week and a half. It happens. These things happen, and you're not necessarily preparing for the zombie apocalypse, but regular disasters happen, and people are woefully unprepared for them.
Yeah.
But then going back to your prepper thing, kind of a side on that, an anecdote. Marley and I planted a pepper and a tomato plant in a pot out back.
Nice.
And when I was like, we have these 2 pots sitting here. Let's make something. Let's grow something. We went to Lowe's one weekend to look at seeds, to look at plants, I had no clue what's in season. I don't know when something should be planted. I don't know when something should be harvested. I put an onion in the ground. We had a rotting onion. I was like, I'll stick it in the ground. Maybe it'll come up. I don't know what to look for. I don't know when that thing is ready other than to look at the onion itself to say that it's prepared. I don't.
That's actually a great thing to do for your soil, for, put in rotting fruits, vegetables. You can actually take, I have, we have a vegetable garden, and I also wanted things like berries. So I started doing strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, and, my strawberries were actually all destroyed by a dirtbag on the zero turn. I guess it was.
No.
Yeah. I guess it was technically a common area. I was gonna transplant them anyway, so I had to replant those, and then I'm gonna do hazelnuts as well, because hazelnuts can be used for so many different things. And then garlic also keeps animals away from your other, plants and stuff. And I was not getting good luck with the raspberries, so we had a wild raspberry bush that was like, a couple miles away. So I went and I took some cuttings, and I took 4 cuttings, and I literally, put open, airy spots in the soil, dug up the soil, because the Virginia red clay sucks out here. Like it just eats everything and spits nothing back up. It's terrible. But if you turn the soil, if you mix in other stuff, if you schnozberries, if you one of the guys, Bob here, who's been awesome, if you put in sliced bananas, that attracts worms, and the worms, when they eat bananas, shit out like up to their whole body weight each 24-hour period. And it gets nuts. So I started doing that kind of thing, and every single one of the cuttings died, and they all turned brown and died, but they dropped all the raspberries. And then, I was like, they're either going to come back to life, maybe, or they're going to repropagate by themselves next year. So we'll see what happens. But I found one of the cuttings actually survived and is growing and is rooting, and it's like, yes. But we'll
Well,
have raspberry seeds.
the crazy thing is, so my grandfather grew up in Tennessee on a farm. His
Mhm.
father was a subsistence. So my great grandfather on his side was a subsistence farmer. I promise you, that man was not looking 1920s. Was not looking at the internet for when do I plant a pepper seed. He
Yeah.
knew by the weather when things were going,
Yep.
and that's a thing that I think we as cultured humans have lost. Like
Oh yeah.
I
Well,
don't
also
know.
people talked back then. They'd be
Oh God,
like,
I know.
"Hey, by the way, September for you to want to plant X after September
Yes,
because of
yeah,
X, Y, and Z." And you
exactly.
know, now you don't look at your neighbor, you don't talk to your neighbor, and people are like, "The first thing I'm going to do is, kill and eat my neighbor and take all of his gear." All joking, joking.
It's just it's kind of it's sad. It's the
Have you read
internet
the
age.
back?
The
Oh, sorry,
internet
go ahead.
age is good in certain ways, but it's not all it's cut up to be.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah. Because that's something that we also do not control the switch to, right? Like
No,
that
and
switch.
people without internet, again, you turn off the power, that turns off cell phones, that turns off internet, that turns off everything. A
Yep.
municipality without power, nothing works.
Yeah.
People will eat each other within 2 weeks,
Yep.
and it's
Uh,
not pretty. There's a preppers blog out there, and I don't remember what it is. Unfortunately, the logo for it is like a gas mask with like a circle around it. I can't remember the name,
hmm
but he wrote, the guy that runs it wrote an article about um, people, the righties, I guess you would say right leaning people, going ready for the end of the world, getting ready. They want the downfall of the government. They want all this stuff to come to an end because then they can really thrive. And he was like, look at Zimbabwe in mid 2000s when they were starving to death. He's like, part of his article, he was like, are you really ready to like drink your own pee? Because that
Yep.
might be what you have to do. Are you
Yeah.
ready to kill and eat your neighbor's dog? Think about that. You need to go over there, shoot that dog, cook it, and eat it. Are you ready for
Yeah.
that?
You got to skin it. You got to field dress it. You got to. People aren't ready,
No,
dude.
not
We
at all.
had.
Not even a little.
There's an article of a guy that lived I think a full year, maybe a full 2 years in Bosnia, in complete and utter, like without rule of law, full-fledged civilian war, and the type of shit that he had to do, like people were trading pillow sacks of handguns for one Bic lighter.
Yeah.
Like the type of shit that we think is valuable, and whatever scenario people have in their head, that is not going to be like. And everyone is like, oh, I got my group, I got my people, I got, yeah,
Rhodesia. It might have been Rhodesia.
Rhodesia.
Somebody said it's Rhodesia, mate. And I was like, it might have been Rhodesia.
Yeah. um and I mean, people, it's kind of, I relate it to this, right? So people are like, I have my Boog brothers, I got my people, I got my militia, I got my whatever. Okay, and guess what? Think of like drug dealers, right? Drug dealers have this whole group of people, and they're like, man, my people will never snitch on me, never snitch on me, until there's a guy that is kidnapped, taken to a place that he doesn't know, and handcuffed to a table for 3 days, and he's finally forced to like give up all the information. Like, when you are dying of
It doesn't
thirst.
even take that. It's a guy that's sitting in front of a judge facing 25 years to life, and he goes, I'm flipping. I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, that's
That's
it.
all it takes.
What do you want to know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It's
yeah,
not hard.
yeah. I mean, it's crazy because in the end, this guy said, you can only depend on yourself. Outside of yourself, the only ones that you can partner with are family, like blood family.
Mhm.
You do not want to end up in a situation where you are housed with another family and they have children, you have children, and there's one piece of bread left.
Yes,
Like,
absolutely.
it's terrifying. So I do think that, like, partially we have this fantasy of the Boog because we kind of want to shed some like dark humor onto it, because we don't really want to go down that road, but a lot of us prepare to go down that road. But I think a lot of it is just truly dark humor. Um,
Yeah, and there's I have no I like dark humor personally.
yeah,
I enjoy dark humor. I think I can find humor in really we have a friend. I'll give you guys some dark humor. 2 days after the Boston bombing happened, or you guys remember that? It was 2012. So I'm nerd culture. I'm internet culture. I play video games. That's how I live my life. I work for a internet. Let's call it a big internet company. Let's say that.
Okay.
So we were sitting on here on Skype of all things because Discord didn't exist back then. So we're sitting on Skype playing. I think we were playing Guild Wars at the time, if I remember correctly, playing Guild Wars. And one of my friends who was also into dark humor was like, "Oh yeah, did you guys hear the story about the second place guy at the Boston bombing?" And all of us were like, "No, what do you mean?" He's like, "Oh, he won by a foot." My friend and I were just like, "Oh fuck me, that's really funny, but that is so soon, so soon."
Like, come on, dude. But if you don't find the humor in it, man,
if you don't find humor in life, you'll end yourself real fast because it's not to be depressing, but look at what's going on in Afghanistan right now. The shit debacle going on there right now.
I know.
I can't have a fucking machine gun, but the Afghanis can go raid a military thing and have, I don't know, 150 240 saws. Like, dude, really?
Fucking technicals, RPGs.
Yes.
And like they literally sell them in the street like a farmer's market. Like, it's nuts. I love it. Yeah, dude. There were people in chat earlier saying, like, dude, I actually am kind of envious because I'd like to go there, take what I can, cut the receivers, send them back. Like, they had plans. Like,
they're I man, the tools, the amount of money that we have left over there for them to pillage and use against us again in the future.
It's terrible. It's terrible. I always tell people, like, you know, the whole black pill thing is real, right? Like, you can very easily see what's going on in the world over the last couple hundred years, at least, maybe more, and be like, damn, like, is it even worth it? And the
steak reference in The Matrix is the perfect example of it.
Absolutely.
And it's sometimes I feel like I wish I had just eaten that steak because I personally, and this is just me, I can't go to the movies any longer. I can't go see a Marvel movie. I tried watching the Boys the other day, and it is so fucking political that I'm just like, this is not entertainment to me. I don't want to watch propaganda, and you see it everywhere. But I feel like you only see it when you have taken that pill. Exactly. Ignorance is bliss.
That scene with Cypher. Yeah.
It frustrates me at times because going back to 2012, again, I feel like I would be so blissfully ignorant of what's going on in the world. Versus now, it's like every time I turn around, all I see, it's the scene from, oh God, what is it with the glasses where he takes the glasses on and off? And looking at billboards, and it's all the propaganda from the billboards with the aliens. That's all I see now. I no longer see what they're trying to sell me and just the propaganda part of what they're trying to sell me.
So when do you think? They live. They live.
They live. That's it.
They live. Yeah.
It's a good movie, by the way, and it's so pertinent to right now. Just throw that out there.
So when do you think you, like, woke up? Can you kind of, like, bring it to a moment, or was it an evolution?
It was an evolution. It wasn't an overnight thing. So it's definitely not something that happens overnight. For me, it wasn't something that happened overnight. See, it's hard to know. I worked at a tech company right out of college, and that was 2012 when I started working there, maybe 2013. And I was just getting into firearms. So I had gotten my first. So it all stems from guns. I guess this is a good talking point. It all stems. My waking up, I guess, all stems from the gun world. Because to me at the time, I was like, it's just a hobby. I don't know why anybody would be upset about it. Sandy Hook happened. Prices went through the roof. And that's when I was working on building my first AR-15. I remember because when something, I actually had a bot that would troll the internet. I had it set up to troll like AIM Surplus, to troll a bunch of these websites.
Really?
When an upper receiver would come in stock, I vividly remember we had a Friday meeting. It reminds you, for anybody out there that's never worked in a tech company, this is a small Gainesville startup called, it's defunct now. It's called Groove Shark was the name. They were a music streaming competitor. Again, Spotify was our biggest competitor. But anybody that's never worked in the tech world, you are outnumbered 100%. I've always had right leaning, center right. But by the way, congrats to Babyface Pino on the correlation gradients on his beard. Not a bad look. I appreciate it. I think one day I may go gray fully, but it's better because I don't have any up top, so I got to make up for it somewhere else.
That's good. You could just go all like Bic the whole thing.
Marley won't let me. I told her, I was like, why don't I just shave it? She's like, no, you need to keep a little hair because I got plenty on the back and the sides. It's just like right here. It's just missing. Yeah. So I remember vividly. I got a notification on my phone saying, "Hey, this I think a stripped upper receiver from Spike Tactical came in stock," and I was like, "I gotta buy this right now." While we're in the middle of our Friday meeting, and tech companies are notorious for being extremely liberal. Most of the people I worked with, extremely liberal, and I started noticing the people that were at the top of the tech company, the CEOs, the CTO, the people in charge of finance, the people in charge of the teams. They were conservative. And they drove nice cars. They had nice families. They had nice homes. They had things that I liked. And I had always been pretty conservative. But then when you look at the people who were leaning left, they drove broken down 1992 Toyota Celicas. And I'm like, I don't fucking... why would I want that for me? I want to strive to be the guy at the top. I don't want to strive
There's nothing wrong with a Celica. No, I'm kidding.
But it slowly started working like that. And then I've always worked in tech, so you've always been outnumbered. I think it took until I worked at my previous company before. So my last company was a gun company. I worked on the tech side of their business. Would not recommend them. And then the previous company with that was all tech. We built, they consider themselves a startup. We had like 150 people. It wasn't really a startup, but we built tech for all sorts of industries. The Taco Bell kiosk. We built the Taco Bell kiosk. We built the Panera ordering app. We built Wawa's ordering apps. So
damn.
I'm not an engineer. I don't do the engineering side. I did the QA and the customer support side of things.
Nice.
But so I've always kind of worked in tech. But you would see people in there that you vehemently, I vehemently would disagree with. And I had one boss who I could not stand her. I had worked with her at Groove Shark. I worked with her here, and I could not stand her because she was, I wouldn't even call her my polar opposite because I tend to lean center right. Other than gun rules, other than gun stuff, let's say other than the Constitution, I'm pretty center right. I don't really care what you do in your pastime. I don't really care. It doesn't, as long as you're not diddling kids or doing, I don't care. It's your pastime. You do what you want.
Yeah, then you're definitely an extreme leftist if you're diddling kids.
We can talk about that and the news that has come out lately about those people. But I had this person who was extreme left. She was an extreme left feminist. And I think, honestly, it pushed me further right. And then I had some people, I had a guy that I worked with who was like, he was a shit posting 4chaner type light. And he was like, he made, the weird thing was he made it okay to go on 4chan. Because at the time I was in the normie idea of like, that place is bad. That place is evil. Like, crazy people go there. You can't go there. You will, it's bad to go there.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, man, it's okay. I go on, he would go on K a lot. He was looking at guns. We connected over gun stuff. And then I started on Pole, and then I started on B, and they went downhill from there. And I'm not going to say that places like 4chan pushed me to, because a lot of places would say like these hubs are what push you to be further right. And I don't really think that's the case. I feel like just as news broke in the Trump election, and then realizing that the media was never going to get off his ass, no matter what. He could have come out and said the sky was blue. They would have said, bro, it's a shade of purple. What are you talking about? Like that, all of that combined with blatant stuff, riots in the streets, a reporter standing there going, it's a mostly peaceful riot, and then pictures behind him of buildings burning.
Yeah.
Things like that are just so obvious to you that I just can't understand how others can't see it. Like it's been a progressive thing over the last probably 6 years. And I will say that being a good woman in your life will allow you to truly be who you are as a person. before I met my wife, and we've been married for 2 years now. We've been together for 6. Before I met her, I was pretty insecure. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't want to have strong opinions because I didn't want to offend anybody because I wanted to be liked. And then once I met her, and she's kind of come to the same thing. She went to college with a bunch of people who, you look at her Twitter posts, people that she follows on Twitter or Facebook, most of them are bitching constantly about what Trump is doing today. And now how Joe Biden is the greatest thing ever. Yeah. And for both of us together, it's like when you have somebody that has your back like that, it really allows you to live who you truly are. You're allowed, like, I can speak my opinions, and I'm like, I can offend anybody out on the street because I really don't care. When I come home and lay my head down at night, I know my wife loves me, and her and I get along. We have good opinions on each other. We agree on a lot of things, and that's what kind of allowed me to open up and be more able to give less shits, if that's the way.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, I think there's a lot of that. There's, part of that growth and evolution comes with just in general, aging. And then also, like you said, being in a relationship, starting a family, all those pieces.
When you think of it, when I started that journey, I was 22, 24. You're in the dating pool. You don't want to offend people. You want to be liked. You want people to like you and respect you. The older you get, the less you care about things like that.
Oh yeah,
especially when you have stability in your own home, you have stability in your life, and you and your significant other have control over what's going on around you. It allows you to exteriorize a little bit more.
Well, I think too, like something I noticed that's really kind of resonated with me is like, and there's no real like appropriate way to say this, but anybody that's like, and let me first preface this with this. I believe that the whole right and left thing is made up, and the purpose of it is to have the entire bifurcation of our country, to 100%. Separate, to separate.
There's only one class that gets ahead by keeping us fighting each other.
Yeah,
that's at the top.
Yep, for sure. And part of that is that they have some intention. It may be just to elevate themselves or to, push out, whatever it is. It's now become like a gang affiliation. I mean, it's so most people that believe in freedom, believe in the Constitution, are typically pretty sound, sober, moral people. People that I've noticed that identify as like super extreme leftists, like leftist extremists, like the crazies, are not, I'd say. And when I go back and study the Constitution, all the quotes, everything that they say, everything has to do with good, sound, sober, moral people, people of discipline, people of, they say things like, people of virtue, people of discipline, and it's changed to where now personal responsibility is just gone because someone else or something else takes care of that.
One thing that I've kind of fallen back on over and over and over again, and part of the reason that I would consider running for politics, local politics, is the people who are in charge are the people who want to be in charge. And anybody that wants that power desperately should never have it. Yeah. Those are the people who should, and that goes back to the founding fathers. They had that thrust upon them. They started the American Revolution and had that power to create the country thrust upon them. They didn't seek out that power necessarily, where the people in power now seek that out because they have a certain sociopathy or something. They're psychotic in a sense that it's like, it's hard to explain, but anybody that desperately wants that power over others, it's like you should never hire a cop that wants that type of authority. You should never put a person in that type of position because it's terrible. It's a terrible idea. Same for our politicians.
Yeah. It's sad, because it appears that it's the removal of morals. It's the removal of and I always say,
It is.
Yeah.
It's the slippery slope argument was a joke made back in 2002 when gays were trying to get married. I hate to say, but look where we are now.
Yeah.
There was an article not that long ago that gay pride is no longer just about being prideful, but kink should absolutely be a part of it. And there are pictures of children at things like that. It just disgusts me on a whole level.
Yeah. It is a level of evil that is now being publicized as, you
Yeah.
know, as okay. And here's what I believe. I believe that the society that I'll say they want, the society that they want, they cannot legislate. They cannot control through law.
If it were a foundation, would you consider it an open society foundation? Maybe something like that. If you don't
Maybe.
understand what that is,
Yeah. Maybe some type of order for like a world that may appear new.
It's brand new. It's brand new.
But sometimes you just have to press reset. Sometimes it's great. No, all jokes aside, it's like the people in power, whatever you want to call them, if they cannot legislate their way to a certain goal or to an outcome, then what they do is they work through people. They work through, let's say that half of the general populace. They work with non-governmental organizations, and since they can't make law to get their outcome, what they do is they enforce it societally.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like now it's, you can't say these things. You can't dead name somebody. You can't, forget someone's pronouns. You can't, like, there's these mistakes, these things that you can and cannot do. And it is enforced through society. There is no law, rule, regulation, or restriction that says anything about this.
Social mores is what they're called. Social mores are the faux pas of society. It's what keeps us. Social mores are what we tend not to break. But no, those are those things that people are actively trying to change the social mores of our society to. I don't know the end. I don't know the end. I'm still confused on the end goal. I don't fully understand. Is it just power? Is it? I don't know what it is. I've never fully understood what the end goal is of these groups.
I think it's by the way, Joe Morris, that was great. Hate speech hurts my feces.
Yeah, I had an argument. I had a discussion because it wasn't an argument. I had somebody bring up hate speech one time on Hank's show and how bad it was, and I was like, I hate to tell you, but there's no such thing. It doesn't exist. There's free speech and there's call to action. And for anybody out there that's listening that doesn't know that, hate speech doesn't exist. There's free speech and there's call to action. So whenever somebody tells you, "Oh, you can't say fire in a burning building," that would actually be appropriate. You can't say fire in a movie theater. You can't yell fire in a movie theater. It's a call to action. It's not. It's different. You're calling to action. It's different. It's like starting a mob, inciting a mob. It's a call to action. There's free speech and there's call to action. There's no such thing as hate speech. Anyways, it's a tirade over.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And most people don't understand that. Well, the people that are growing up and their evolution, like what you just described, your kind of journey to who you are, the individual that you are right now, they're going through the early stages of that right now with all of this shit being shoved down their throat. And I
couldn't even imagine. I told my wife not that long ago, I couldn't imagine being in the dating pool post-college, fresh out, 22 years old. I could not imagine being in the dating pool right now. No, it's got to be awful. It has to be a awful thing to go through.
Yeah. Well, I think that you mentioned the end game. And, this probably won't get a lot of popular opinions. Okay. What's up, Agorizer? One of the things that I thought of was that, the reason I started prepping, and funny enough, the reason that I got into guns, I was always into guns and carried illegally and bought guns illegally. Sorry, whatever. I mean, I'm being honest. Statute of limitations is way over, so it's okay. But I didn't see it as I do now, and even just 10 years ago.
Can we pause real quick? The end
Yeah,
is near, beware. What on earth side conversation are they having? Snapping
snapping
turtles can't
turtles.
do that much damage to a penis. I don't know what side conversation is going on, but I
Dude,
had to bring that to the forefront.
it's so
Sorry.
crazy. I will see the craziest shit. Like we'll be talking about like something like so serious, and I look to
Yeah.
the left, and they're like, "Well, average size is actually under 4 inches." So I'm like, "What?"
I like the quotes around that much damage.
Yeah, right. Oh, what's up,
Whose
Chris?
perspective are we going off of? Because I ain't sticking my wing in a snapping turtle. It's not
Yeah,
happening.
in any part of a snapping
No,
turtle.
not anywhere near it.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm sorry I interrupted.
Oh no, it's great. I don't even remember.
You were buying guns illegally. How you got into your journey?
Oh yeah. Thank you. So my perspective on that's going to be a snippet right there. Oh yeah, you were buying guns illegally.
Yeah, there you go.
So I didn't have the same perspective of self-preservation. I knew why I had the firearms, and I knew why they served a purpose, and that they were tools. But I watched a documentary, and this is literally right after I turned 18. I mean, it was the week that I turned 18. And I watched a documentary on. I was a big hip hop head. I was into hip hop like
Oh, okay.
hardcore,
Yes.
and I watched a documentary on Tupac called Thug Angel, and I mean he also wrote a lot of great poetry as well, like the rose that grew between the crack and the concrete, and a bunch of great shit from Tupac, um, and he was at a shooting range in L.A. and he busted out a MAC-10 45 ACP, an SKS, an AK, and the shotgun, and all the shit in that. And the way he described his views on self-preservation, I mean, it inspired me literally to the level where I was also a stupid kid, but I literally got my wallet, got my keys, got my car, drove to a gun shop,
And bought a gun.
and I bought a gun. And my first gun was a Century Arms Wasser 10. And
Fantastic piece of shit AK. Those are the
I
best.
know,
Because back then, mind you, Wasser 10s were what, $350,
yeah,
$400?
yeah, 329.
Oh,
And then
fucking the glory days of the Wasser, the 329 Wasser 10.
so I still have, by the way, I don't have that one. God, I wish I did.
I
I
know.
also bought a Remington 870, and
You started out great, man.
I did. Now, prior to that, prior to actually purchasing legal firearms, I had like a Taurus 7-shot 357 mag.
Mhm.
That was like the Gucci gun back then. Like on the street, if you got a Taurus, like woo,
A Taurus. Oh God, a Taurus. I have a Colt Python. If you guys want to see a Colt Python, that's talk about a Gucci revolver. I have a Gucci revolver.
Yes, that is pure Gucci. And I also had I had a single shot lever action 22, which was cool.
Yeah.
It kicked out the cartridge,
Yeah.
threw it in, and then I also had a high point 40 that I never did anything with other than sell.
Because they're, I'm not gonna shit on them because they work, but the worst caliber and the worst pistol.
God, it was terrible. I mean, I literally sold it like right away. I didn't even
it's
put
such
it.
a good. It's a bad. Don't buy high point 40s, please. Don't buy high point 40s.
Yeah. I would say don't buy a high point. Get a Kel-Tec before you get a high point. Like I rock Kel-Tecs like all day. But anyway, so I went to the gun shop. I bought an AK, and the fact that I could walk in there with an ID, and at that time a second form of ID, but nowadays you just need an ID, and it totally changed the way that I looked at things. I also got a Maverick 88.
Plenty good.
So I started kind of on a good path, and it totally changed the way that I looked at self-preservation and the responsibility that you have for yourself and others. And that kind of started my path to waking up. And not only because it wasn't just a gun to me, right? It was like also when I decided to carry, right? When I decided to carry, I started carrying a, okay, hold on. Sorry.
What's up?
Somebody just mentioned that I forgot. We have a very sensitive gentleman in our community. His name is Gerchop, and if we don't all acknowledge him,
Hi, Gerchop. Welcome to the show.
Oh, look at that, Babyface P specifically. Welcome.
It is a pleasure to say your name out loud, Gerchop.
Oh, that's great. Sorry,
people don't have. There are some people who naturally have the ability to understand self-preservation. And I think there used to be more of us out there that, well, I can't say us. I was not one of those that had a natural tendency to, I will fuck you up if you fuck me up. Try to fuck me up. I'm going to come out on top. My dad is one of those. My dad is absolutely one of those. He's his father was a body shop owner, a drunk, an alcoholic. And so from the time he was 12, he was kind of on his own. He worked at his dad's body shop. By the time he was 16, he was almost out on his own, started his own body shop. So car repair. And then he got into the fire department when I was just before I was born, I think. But he has in his youth, had the natural tendency of, you come at me, I'm going to win this. It doesn't matter what you bring. I'm winning this. And a lot of people don't have that. Funny story from the fire department. The station that he was located at in Tampa always had hobo calls constantly. Somebody's passed out on the street. Somebody, considered a citizen calls in thinking, oh, there's somebody dead or something like that. Well, no, that's drunk old Pete. We all know him. We get a call on him every other night. They show up to this thing, and this is back in the late 90s. Let's call it late 90s. And most cops and firefighters at the time had 4D cell mag lights. Because that's the best flashlight you could get at the time. Yeah. Hey, poke the hobo. Hey, come on, Pete, get on up. You gotta get out of here. Somebody keeps calling about you. They think you're dead. Well, this drunk hobo decides he's enraged, jumps straight up and goes to grab around my father's throat, and receives a 4D cell mag light upside the head, because that's natural reaction is, I'm winning this. You're not winning this. Pop.
And he had it in his hand.
Of course, already. He had it in his hand. This is what's happening. Yeah. But there are a lot of people out there that I don't think have. There are a lot of people that I don't think know.
They freeze.
What they're capable of. I don't think people understand that we're animals. We're capable of these things.
Well, I'll bring it back to, like we mentioned, the movie Fury earlier, right? And there's this brief moment where Shia LaBeouf, who typically isn't my favorite person, but Shia LaBeouf, they're bringing in the new guy, and the new guy is like, freaking dropping his like typewriter, and he's like, I'm only supposed to be an interpreter and all that, and they placed him with this tank company, and this is what he's going to do. And Shia LaBeouf is sitting there staring at him, doesn't say a word. And when they finally establish eye contact, he says, "Just wait until you see it." And he looks up and says, "See what?" And he says, "What a man can do to another man."
Yep.
And 100%. It's like, people don't understand that until you are in a moment of desperation, if you have not been punched in the face, if you have not been, literally held physically against your will, if you've not been terrified to the point where you're like, I don't know if I'm going to get out of this.
You don't understand. You can't understand, really.
And you likely don't know what you're capable of.
And people don't understand. We've talked briefly, a little bits of just fighting in general and fighting.
Hold on, I'm sorry. Zach Carr said, thank you for the super chat. I would use an O-light, more explosive.
Yeah.
Great. Sorry.
People don't understand the idea of animalistic fighting. It's great and all that you're a boxer, you're an MMA, you do whatever. But if you've ever had that, like, I'm coming out on top, I don't give a shit what I'm going to do. I'm going for your eyes. I'm going for your throat. Whatever it takes, I'm winning
your dick, I'll bite you.
Doesn't matter what it is. Yeah. I'm winning this. I'm coming out on top. A lot of people I don't think they've either never gotten to that line, or a lot of people don't think that they have that in them. There's stories out there that you'll hear, and these mind over matter kind of will to survive sort of stories of people who have been shot in very innocuous places. You take a round through the hand or the foot in a mass shooting and lay there and bleed to death because, oh my God, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die.
Yeah,
I have this
non-life
threatening hole. And they die. They have no will to get up and fight. They have no will to leave. I'm going to lay here and die because that's all I know. And then you hear of people who have taken 7 rounds to the sternum, chest, abdomen, whatever. They end the fight, and then they get to medevac out and survive.
Yeah.
And it's totally mindset. It's totally in your head of, I don't care what's happening. You're going to have to kill me because I'm not going down until I am dead. You know?
Well, I think the idea of, like you mentioned, animalistic, it's so true because, like, interestingly enough, animals will typically avoid fighting unless there is no
mutual destruction is what it turns into. 2 lions go at it, both of them are likely going to die. So they're smart enough to know, like, let's not do this.
Yeah, if I can squeeze out of here, I'm going to.
Yep.
But they also don't have that. They don't have the mindset or the cognitive. They don't know what firearms are. So if they take a freaking 12 gauge to the chest, they're not like, oh my God, I've been shot. What am I gonna do?
No,
they're
just like, I'm fucking angry. That hurt. And who just did that to me? Who did that to me? Your balls are next.
Yeah, exactly.
but people, we're the same thing. We just pretend like we're not. Pretend we're high society. We've evolved out of that. We're not, and it's like, no. That's in the lower part of your brain. And for anybody that's not aware, I actually have a psychology degree. I went to college for a psych degree. The lower animal part of your brain that controls heart, respiration, things like that. That's where that stuff lives. That will to thrive and to procreate and to do mean things to other people. It's there. Your upper brain is what keeps you from doing it. But when fight or flight kicks in and it's fight time, that part takes over and says, for some people, I'm coming out on top. I don't care what it takes. It doesn't matter. I'm winning this.
Yeah, and I think it should be officially changed to fight, flight, freeze. Because
there's a lot of people that freeze. It's amazing. Yeah. And I don't remember. I had something happen to me. It was something small and innocuous, like a car accident, and something small like that. And I feel like I remember getting out of my car and checking on all the people. Is everybody okay? You call the police. You look like your neck hurts. Just sit there. Like people just freeze when things happen that are outside of what they're prepared for. They just are like, I don't know what to do. It's like somebody has to take charge here because none of you fuckers are doing anything.
Well, I think when you've been through enough events, you start to learn how to kind of deal with adrenaline flow.
Yeah.
You can manage it differently.
You have to. It's a skill set, and I'm not gonna pretend like I am the best at that. And there's a certain amount that is too much, by the way. PTSD is a real thing, and there's a certain amount of adrenaline flow over and over and over that actually hurts. It's harmful more than helpful. But no, learning to control your adrenaline flow in a high adrenaline situation is a very powerful skill. And not enough people know how to do that. And again, I'm not saying that I do. I'm cooler under hot circumstances than most, but I'm definitely not the top of my game. There are people out there who are much more cooler head than me.
Oh yeah. And I just would say that I'm cooler than I used to be in situations.
Absolutely. Right? That's probably the best way to put it. Back in 2010, I would have been the person that was like, I don't know what to do. Nowadays, there's not a whole lot that can faze me. I'm medically, for your average everyday things that'll happen in typical society, I can pretty much handle. Because that's a lot of things people aren't prepared for. Somebody gets hit by a car, and we always try to, our minds exaggerate to the furthest extent we can of, oh my God, a mass shooting. I'm going to be Rambo and go in and save it. It's like, no, it's more likely that somebody's going to cross the street. Person's going to run the red light and hit them. That's happens all day, every day, all the time.
Or lightning will strike the mass shooter.
I just saw a thing in North Carolina. 7 people just got hit by a lightning strike. 1 person got severe burns. Wild event. Yeah, Grandfather Mountain. If you look up Grandfather Mountain, there's 7 people that just got hit yesterday by a lightning strike.
So, question, because
Yeah,
you obviously studied psychology.
little
Are you
bit.
familiar with the term the call of the void?
Not offhand. Let me see if it references something else I've heard of. Call of the Void. It
Yeah,
sounds like existentialism.
it's look it up and tell me because they may call it something else that may be more of like a table term. Um, but I would,
Is a
I'd
feeling when
love,
you think for a second about steering into oncoming traffic or jumping off a cliff for no reason. Oh, absolutely. I do that all the time.
yeah,
Absolutely all the time. I think about driving down the road and I see a bunch of people walking and I'm like, my life could take a real hard turn right now if I just ran all of them over.
yeah,
And I don't. I'm not going to go do that. But I think through the process of like, I ran all them over. I would get arrested. I'd be in jail for the next 45 years of my life.
yeah. So
But no,
that's
yeah,
it's a real thing, and
absolutely.
so I want everyone. We got
It's
almost
weird.
60 people in here.
It's a
I want
weird feeling.
Well,
Because
it's supposed to be because apparently what they're saying, and for all of you that have had crazy ass thoughts, like if you're at the top of a building and you're like, what would it be like if I jumped? What would happen? What would it physically feel like? And then what would happen after? And that
yeah,
what it is your subconscious mind is throwing a thought out and it is going over your frontal lobe, and your frontal lobe is like,
no,
that's
we're not
not
doing
socially
that.
acceptable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
do
not
not
doing
do
that.
that.
That's
No.
crazy.
Yeah, and it is literally the checks and balances of your brain. So when you think about crazy people and how they don't have that,
They don't have
don't
the
do
yeah.
this.
Yep.
Yeah, they're like, yep, sounds good. So
Thirsty cult wants to see my feet. Um,
if you do it, there will be a YouTube video of your feet on his channel.
I have socks on right now, and unfortunately, I would be the type of dude that I would show my feet off. I have socks on, and I'm not taking them off. Sorry.
Yeah, so I've done
Um,
that before twice now. One time I showed him feet with socks. Another time I showed him feet without socks,
does this
and
person actually like feet, or is this a gag?
I think it's a gag.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, so after all this, I was like, okay, just give me your information and I'll make sure to file a restraining order.
Exactly.
But like, as soon as he hit me up and was like, hey, let me know if I ever go too far with the joke, I was
Oh,
like,
it's a gag.
okay, all right, yeah, it's fine.
No, I got
Um,
I got. I don't even know what brand these are. I got socks on. I'm not a brand person.
yeah,
Um,
I'm not taking off my warm socks for
Yeah, no,
you.
it's
Are you
comfortable in
crazy?
here. It's a lot of work to take socks. And then, mind you, I'm at a standing desk. For anybody that's not aware, this is standing. So
Hell yeah.
my camera is at eye level. How the fuck am I? I'm not a gymnast. I can't get my feet from down there to eye level. It's not happening.
I thought you could pull a Simone Bales.
Yeah. You get my foot over my shoulder, and
Yeah,
then I'll show
right.
you the bottom of my foot.
So I always thought you were at a standing desk because, like, when I see you, I kind of see like your shoulders like bobbing a little bit. You're like leaning in, like eating.
Yeah. I've had this standing desk since my Groove Shark days. When they went out of business, I actually bought my particular desk from the company.
Nice.
So I've had this desk for a good like 10 years now.
Hell yeah.
It's
I
better
miss
for
that.
you. I'm a fat ass nowadays. I used to be nice and in shape, and I would stand for 6 hours out of my 8-hour workday. I now
Yeah.
sit for most of my workday, but
I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. Literally. So I had a standing desk where you could push it down,
Yep.
or you could clunk the sides and then roll it up. And
Yep.
dude, standing up, I'd be in there with a freaking headset on, bouncing a ball around, and just
Yep.
like, I had to be moving and moving and moving. And then it's like, oh, now you're gonna get fried.
My 30s, my 30s rolled around, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I could take this meeting standing up, but I'm very comfortable in my stool right now.
Yeah, like I have to move.
Yeah, exactly.
So, any other specific topic you want to hit, or
No, whatever. I've had 2 beers. I took a nap this afternoon in the thunderstorm. I'm up and I'm going, and I'll probably be up till 2 or 3 in the morning anyways. So if anybody has questions other than about my feet, Thirsty Cult says he likes women's feet. So that's good. That's good.
Oh, okay. I'm actually personally, I'm going to say something that's going to blow everyone in chat's mind. I think Thirsty Cult is a female, and I think all of this is a ruse.
It's a ruse the whole entire time. Okay.
Yeah. So what's your I guess stance on? We gotta be careful what words we use, but the whole thing with the karate cold, the virus, the inoculation, the jab, the just kind of everything as a whole. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so where do you want to begin there? Because I have a lot I could say about it. If you want the basic overview, I had COVID in February of 2019.
Okay.
Before
Yeah,
it was even a
early.
really big thing.
Yeah.
I came back from a work excursion in Texas, and COVID wasn't even really known about back then because it was just becoming hot. And
March was when it like really kind of was
I
national.
had a flu-like symptom for about a week. I lost my sense of taste for about 2 days. I lost my sense of smell for about a day. Looking back on that symptoms block and the concept that I went to Texas, I took a flight back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fairly confident without getting the antibody test that I had COVID back then. So from my personal research, my antibodies are fine. I don't need a mRNA vaccine to boost my antibodies, and I have no fear of dying from a virus.
Nice. All right, let's see if
I'm not fear. That's the thing. I don't live in fear for. If I get sick, I'm healthy. I'm 32. I'm not in the 99.9975% survival rate. If I had to get sick, I'll get sick and I'll be fine. It's not gonna kill me. I
was
know
just
one
curious
day.
to see if the V word turned us into a yellow dollar
Yeah.
sign.
I know one day I will. One day I'll have that realization that this might kill me. I've yet to have that realization, and I'm not. None of this is going to get me. This is not what's going to take me out. Is what I do.
Oh, was it a couple people have brought up? Was it February of 2020 or
2020? Maybe it was
2020. Okay, all right.
Maybe it was February 2020.
Yeah, I was just curious. I think
whatever it was. So Wuhan lab. Excuse me. Eating pangolins and bat soup happened in November, I think, of 2019. So I think my trip was February of 2020. That sounds about right.
Gotcha.
Something like that.
Yeah, and I think when it really started going like nationally all over was like March of 2020.
Yeah,
it was like,
yeah. So my trip would have been in February of 2020.
Yeah. Now it was out publicly, like it was discussed in December. Then it was discussed.
But it's fine. You're not going to catch it. It's not airborne. You have to make out with somebody else's butthole. I mean, you're never going to get it.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, I think I'm not going to go get stuck and have a blood draw done for no particular reason, but I'm fairly certain I have the antibodies to it. Because again, all my kung flu symptoms matched up with what everybody else had reported up till then.
Yeah.
My mom was the one that talked about it. She was like, "I think you already had it," and I think I gave it to my dad as well.
Wow.
She was like, "Don't you remember you called me one time, and during that flu week that you had, you lost your sense of taste for 2 days?" And because I remember drinking a cup of coffee, and I asked my wife, I was like, "Does the coffee taste all right to you?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's perfectly fine." I was like, "It tastes like mud. It tastes like nothing but just. There's no flavor to this. It tastes like mud." So I had that for about 2 days. I lost my sense of smell, and everything came back.
Dude, the goddamn bacon. If you don't stop talking about fast food,
favorite casual. That's not fast food. Casual dining is a tier above fast food. Excuse me.
Yeah, I can see that.
Casual dining. Favorite casual dining.
But says, are we talking fast casual dining restaurant?
Fast casual. Steak and Shake. Yeah, I'd say Steak and Shake's fast casual dining.
Steak and Shake. So we don't have those out here.
Oh, you're missing out. Steak and Shake is it's kind of a southeastern thing, I think. It's like it used to be like a bellhop kind of place, diner, but they're known for steak burgers. They make delicious steak burgers.
That's awesome.
Yeah, fast casual. I'd call it fast casual.
Yeah, interesting that you brought up that it's mRNA. A lot of people don't understand that it's like essentially an operating system.
That is not a mRNA, as far as I can research, and to the extent of. Because we need to remember, words mean things. When you say vaccine, it means something. Yeah. mRNA doesn't truly fall into that, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, totally agree.
Sorry, I'm interrupting.
No, you're good.
Food is for the weak. I need breast milk and. Did you? I don't know if I should even bring this breast milk thing up. Okay, never mind.
No, you're good.
Bodybuilders buy breast milk. Did you know that?
Oh yeah, man. There's like a
We
huge market.
That blew my mind. I had a friend that had a baby, their first baby, and again, this was 5 years ago, and his wife was like, "I have people hitting me up all the time, like, hey, if you want to sell your breast milk, I know where to put it." I was like, "What the fuck? What,
Dude, that's some creepy shit.
Yeah, bodybuilders love that stuff.
Man, yeah, I could never. I mean, that to me that is just as like cringe as someone being like, "Are you aware of the protein levels of male ejaculate?" Like,
Yeah. You're like, we were having a very nice steak dinner until you just brought that up, sir.
Yeah, like I would literally rather eat raw eggs out of a straw hanging upside down than any of that shit that these fools are doing. Like that's crazy.
No thanks.
Yeah.
But no, when it comes to that, when it comes back to the kung flu, no, I have no fear of dying from it. And people,
yeah,
you live in a free country for now, sort of. Asterisks in the top.
Yeah.
People need to be able to make up their own decisions. You need to make up your own mind. And I am not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I've read through my own amount of stats from research coming out, and that's all you can do. And you have to make up your own decision for yourself.
Yep. Yeah. I think the biggest thing that is being completely avoided is no one is saying, go have a conversation with your primary care physician.
No.
They're saying, go do this, go do this.
I'm being told by TikTokers who are at the White House, get the vax. It's perfectly safe and it's not harmful at all.
Yeah.
Other than the kids that are having, the 17-year-olds that are having myocarditis and dying, yeah, totally safe and not harmful.
Dude,
perfectly effective.
There was a Facebook group with 70,000 members, and all of them were reporting all the negative things that happened to them.
Let me guess, they get the axe?
Every single post, everything. So I was able to see a screen recording of it, and I am talking about terrifying shit.
Yeah.
And it's also on like literally recorded on paper, searchable, that it was developed using aborted
fetal material.
Yeah. Now, at that topic, we shouldn't discuss any further. But,
there's so much there. There's so much you can talk about there.
Yeah.
It's hard to know where to even begin. I guess the best thing to start with is MK Ultra, the Tuskegee syphilis experiments. I mean, how many things?
I fucking knew I would love you, man.
How many things do you need to list off that would tell you don't trust the fucking government?
Yeah.
But now it's all right. Now it's all right for the people on the left to 100% believe the government and big pharma. That's what we want.
Yep.
Big pharma, big government. Absolutely who we should be listening to.
Dude, Zach, stop giving me money, Zach. Jesus, man. Didn't you just have a baby like 3 days ago?
Yeah, you need to be keeping that money. Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful for you, and congratulations. He says, Elizabeth Warren, Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein, Mary, woohoo, put in the ground and go.
I don't know. This is so much talk. You can just talk.
Yeah,
the problem with politics is it becomes an echo chamber where you just start saying the same things over and over and
over. Yeah, I know. And I do think there's an element of like, so there's a small group of people that think that like me, CRS, and some people are federal agents, right? Yeah.
I don't fully believe CRS got a if he were a federal agent, I don't know if they would. He would have to get his own car so he can drive down to Florida so he can testify. His wife, significant other, whoever it is, and can testify in front of the jury.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's crazy. But I also don't fault them, and here's why: because you search for information and connect the dots that you believe, and I'll kind of tie this together in a sec. So if there are these people that are out there and they're like, oh my God, like Dark and CRS and their feds because, Auto Keycard, and then, he worked with Auto Keycard, and then Auto Keycard got locked up, and then the whole Lego Man thing, and Lego Man's shit got raided, and like boom, shit's tied together. They're all feds, right? And they're connecting dots because they're finding information that lines up with what they believe. They truly believe that this shit lines up. And it made me and CRS, we were talking about it, stop and think like, holy shit, is the whole red pill thing, like, are we only finding information that we want to connect the dots with because we desperately want it to be true? Like, are we falling victim to the same shit?
I can't think of the name for it. There's a name for the
Confirmation bias.
Confirmation bias, looking for the data that you want. And it's hard to fight against it because I do the same thing. I look at data and I want to read into it what I want to believe. You got to decide. You got to decide for yourself what's best,
Yeah. Dark is the only good fed. Thank you for seeing that.
It's shameful that their organizations give them a bad name. No, it's not shameful. The ATF is an organization that shouldn't exist. What am I even saying? They regulate things that could be moved over to the FBI or to DOJ. They don't need to exist. They also poisoned people. If anybody's not aware, look back at the 1920s when Prohibition was around. They poisoned people to death. That was a thing.
Yep. And there is a list of things that they have done that are completely inhumane.
I just don't understand the cognitive dissonance that comes from somebody, and I'm going to say typically on the left, who will look back at all the things all the governments the CIA has helped topple, and then will come back and say, trust the science. This is all correct. Everything's good. The government's good. Big Pharma's going to help you here. Like,
because socially, that's the thing that, like, when I said, like, socially, they're trying to design this, like, social body that does their groundwork for them, and this is exactly what they are doing. Like, that they're using the general populace as a tool. Zach Carr, Jesus, thank you, brother. You can just call me Mr. Bankrolls. As long as you're stealing that money, or
from John Trump, it's good.
Yeah, right.
It might be my money soon, so you better watch out because I might buy some patches.
Well, so there will, just so all y'all know, there will be a. Oh, it's probably because I have check out Toxic Patch Co. on the banner there. Yeah, thank you. This is all my advertising money, guys. I'm filthy rich over here. Thank you, Toxic Patch Co.
YouTube takes 30% of that as well.
Yeah, not to mention taxes and. What was I saying? Basically, they're using these people as a tool to enforce what they want to happen societally, I guess.
Mm-hmm. You can't chase the law. You can't go after Congress. You can't go after certain things. So the one that keeps getting brought up is the video of the ex-KGB agent being interviewed back in the 70s. Have you seen that? It's been around for a long, long time. It's nothing new. And he's talking about how you change a population's think, and how when he had defected from the KGB, we had already were in stage 1, if not 2, of their tactic. We're now reaping what they have sowed. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, he said what, 2 generations or something?
2 generations is all it takes. So we are 3 generations in.
Here's what I believe.
3 generations through college. So if their goal, let's just say whoever they is to you, okay, if their goal is control, pure and utter control, and it may be through the world, it may be through the world coming together for one government, or for one, whatever the hell it is, right? It's in the end, it's control, right? And they will continue to borrow your freedoms during incidents like the last year and a half until it's normal to not get them back. I don't understand the idea of this idea that it's selfish to want your freedoms, to want your liberties, to want the things that you are guaranteed to have. It's just crazy to me that
you're killing grandma.
I don't get it. Grandpa's the meme image of the how many people have to die before so and so such and such, and then the angel flies down and it's like literally everyone.
Yeah,
That's kind of how I feel. I'm like,
dude, that's
liberties
so
are far more important than a couple of people. I'm sorry. And oh, how dare you? 300,000 people died. They probably were going to die anyways. Heart disease and car accidents kill most of us. It hasn't been happening because people are locked in their fucking houses. So the Reaper is going to get his just rewards one way or another. There's nothing you can really do about it.
Yeah, and honestly, since we had 0 flu cases in the last year and a half,
I know
that they probably would have died from the flu.
It's emotional. Chuck Norris Gun Club, emotional pleading versus logical thought. It's really what it is.
Yeah.
You can't argue. You can never argue logics with somebody who's coming from an emotional standpoint. It's not possible.
Absolutely.
It's just not. They're apples and oranges. It's two separate arguments.
Well, because logic makes you think, and emotion makes you act. Right?
Yeah.
And if you have two different things, like it's the square peg and the round hole. And so my whole outlook on it is that this is like, I guess, kind of what I was getting to earlier is like the reason I started prepping, the reason I started, looking for renewable options for resources that I don't have control of. And it put me on the path that I am today, and, sharing about it and sharing the journey about it and all that. And, I constantly thought in my head that in my lifetime, I would have to deal with something where, I would have to use these types of things, and I would likely die screaming with a rifle. And it's
still entirely possible, by the way.
It is possible, but there's been some key indicators that are now making me think that they don't want the hassle, because every single military-age male now with a rifle it's highly likely that they would pick up and fight.
Yes.
So what's the next
easier to
thing?
Sway the thoughts of people and make social norms and social mores than it is to come in and say, this is what's happening. Communism is here. Socialism is here. You're going to live under that, because it wouldn't happen. Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
And who would it be easier to sway? If you're looking at like the elderly, the boomers, the Generation X, Z, and then our millennials, and all down to the
college
younger
kids, the younger ages, the stupid ones that don't know better,
college kids and below. And if you want to truly, design, like synthesize a population from the ground up, you want them even younger, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that we, whomever, may have to fight the good fight to be able to, secure freedom for the future. And then I realized that they don't want me. They don't want me. They don't want the hassle that would come with the fight. They want my kids.
Absolutely.
They want our kids. And to develop it
Yours is
further,
at the prime age. You said 4 or 5, something like that?
Yeah,
prime age to start the propaganda on. Did you see the Blues Gay Pride Parade video? That's a thing.
Know.
That's a thing for anybody out there. Go look up Blues Clues Gay Pride. That's a thing.
Jesus.
Blues Clues is for what? 5-year-olds and below? 4-year-olds?
That's crazy.
Propaganda. That is the prime age for propaganda. Just saying.
So think about this too. Okay, and this is what really started to concern me is that okay, if they don't want me, and they want my children and grandchildren, then what else could they be doing? Like, what behind the scenes, blah blah blah, and then it clicks. Who is completely what do you call it? Exempt from having to get the jab?
Kids
12 and under.
Yeah, 12 and under. For now.
And it made me think, like, oh my God, like, they're exempting the people that they want to be able to socially, like, breed, to design a populace
into their ideals.
Like, dude, it's crazy that whatever this is, this, mRNA thing that is an operating system that evolves, that was made from babies. If that, I don't know what it is.
So the one thing is, it's easy to go down these rabbit holes. I personally think that government is too incompetent to really truly do this. It's not one. I will put it out there. I don't think the Illuminati is that's a concept of a dozen men sitting around a big black table deciding what happened. I don't think that exists. I really don't. I think the big groups like that are too incompetent to do things. I just think that there are so many people working towards the same ends that it just so happens that shit goes the right way for them. The prime example here. Identifies 12-year-old little boy. Oh fuck! You better watch out. There are people on the left that will be enjoying that. There are. You look at the hospitalizations from COVID from March on through November when things started lifting. I don't think there was a cabal of doctors getting together saying, we need to raise our stats to make it look like the world is coming to an end. I think it was a purely economic, the people that run hospitals look at it and go, the more COVID patients we take in, the more people we say have COVID, the more money we make from it. We make more money. We get more government grants. We get all this stuff. So everybody that comes through that door is fucking COVID. And it's not a cabal disseminating that down. It's all of them going, we're fucking greedy bastards. Like, this is easy money.
They're incentivized.
And then all of them do it.
Yep.
Exactly what it is. And I think that's how it's working for a lot of things.
I totally agree.
It's incentivized to do that.
Yeah.
But then you have the people at the top. You have the people who created these mRNA things who Flying Rich, I can tell you stories. You have people at the top who created these things who are it's all about money. It's all about money. This third dose, another how many billions of dollars going to Pfizer. It's strictly a money thing. I really honestly don't think anybody at Pfizer really gives a rat's hairy ass about your health. It's about money. That's all it's ever been.
Dude, I'll tell you this. I had shared with a bunch of people on several streams, that Richard Rothschild took out a patent for COVID-19 testing, tracking, and tracing in 2015. Okay. That alone gave me chills and made me think, okay, this family, one of the like 7 to 9 families that have been essentially running the world for the last couple hundred years. Time. Literally took out a patent 4 years prior to the, shit even kicking off. And then once it kicked off, then they took, 4 other patents out on testing, tracking, and tracing, and they've literally gotten paid for every Q-tip that has gone up every nose ever, and every smartphone that's taken.
It's always about two things: money and power. That's it. It's always about one of two things. It's money and power, and one begets the other. Both beget each other, I guess you could say. Power gets you money, money gets you power.
Totally agree. But I watched. There is this gentleman, I forgot his name. I'll share the. Are you on Discord?
I'm on. I have Discord myself, but I'm not on your guys' Discord.
Okay, so I'll share our community with you.
Yeah.
And you'll see some craziness. You'll feel like you're, going through K-Pole, like, when you're in there. Oh shit! What was I gonna say? I went to read chat. And I got sidetracked.
Chuck Norris's Gun Club's latest comment was very funny.
Yeah, he's awesome. And shout out to you guys, man. The community, like you guys are like
very entertaining.
Do all this shit.
Of all the people chatting, this is very, very entertaining for me.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. That's right. So the video. So I watched a video of a gentleman that had to testify over. He basically is the one responsible for going through all the medical patents, and he had literally hand reviewed over 4,000 medical patents, and there are patents that have been taken out specifically for this novel, dating back to 2009, 2008, 2006, 2002, and the year 2000. So how, like, it doesn't make sense. The video is like an hour and 19 minutes, but it is bone chilling, and I'll share that on Discord.
There are, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to know. And that's the thing. It's hard to know what. It's hard to know
Like, what's
what.
genuine, what's real,
Yeah,
what's is it just now? Is it real? 100%, absolutely, no question. Whatever. I have
this
seen it.
is
My
so
family has been impacted by it.
for anybody that's curious. This is not a new thing. Working on creating viruses. So I actually had a very nice talk with somebody who went to Stanford, got his bachelor's. He's only has his bachelor's, but he went through and worked for a couple big pharmas and in a virology lab, and specifically has his bachelor's in virology from Stanford. And this is nothing new, which was very surprising to me. Creating viruses using the CRISPR way to inject DNA into viruses to make them more virulent, more deadly, more whatever, is not a new concept. We've been doing it for quite a few years, and the idea behind it is, well, it helps us prepare for the future. We can design this virus and say, hey, we want it to be more virulent. What could we do to fight that? We can design this other one to, hey, this will be more deadly. It'll have this and this and this. What do we do on that?
Yeah.
So this isn't a new concept, but it's also you get to that whole thing. Yeah, nobody ever stopped to ask. You always ask, can we, but not should we, could we? Should we be doing these things? And it's extremely dangerous work. And accidents happen. And from what I understand, lab accidents happen often. You hear about them because they are typically contained and taken care of. Lab accidents happen a lot. People spill chemicals. People get pissed on by bats and then get COVID. And then, they eat pangolins and shit and get COVID. And then this is not uncommon. You never found out what PWEDC.
So
PW. I'm thinking PW EDC, everyday carry. We already talked about penises. I can only think penis.
So there's something that we call on our channel. I'll actually pull up an article, and I think that it'll help you. So there's something that we call PWEDC. PWEDC is like, we got, just so you guys know, for the whole community, Sport Brand, as you guys know, has taken on like designing all of our, like, he designed the Chem Light, he designed the Eagle here. He designed the Eagle with the blue Chem Light. He designed the chicken bone syringe, because apparently in jail people make syringes out of chicken bones.
That's news to me. I know a lot of random fucking facts, but I'm gonna have to look that one up later.
Yeah,
I've never heard that one before.
So he's been designing Here's a Visine bottle with a chicken bone and a
I like the art style.
Yeah.
What's the name?
His name is Sport Brand. And
is he on like Instagram or anything?
He's in our chat right now.
Sport Brand. I like the stuff. I really like the style.
Dude, so we designed a whole PWEDC line for our, like, we're not like a merch channel. Like, we're only kind of doing it like to like benchmark like a time where we're like all here, like,
no. It's each other. You have the slap, you have the sticker from the one run, the sort of stuff.
Yeah. And like Zach, the moment that he was doing patches, I was like, all right, fuck it, man, let's just go all out. Like, let's do it. So PWEDC is something that we're going to make some shirts about. We're going to have some, here we go. We're going to have some serious merch coming out with PWEDC on it. So I think the only way for me to describe it would be to show you.
Oh, no. It has to be safe for YouTube, so it can't be that bad. Oh, yeah. That's Prison Wallet. PW, Prison Wallet.
Prison
PWEDC.
Wallet, everyday carry.
There was a woman, I don't know if that's the one there. There's a woman that went into prison with a 9mm up her hoo-ha.
Yep.
That might be that one there.
It could be. That looks like
Prison Wallet. What would I hide in my prison? Are we talking realistic Prison Wallet EDC, or like fancifully, if my anus was big enough, I put a Desert Eagle up there,
Yeah, right.
But I don't think it can handle that.
Yeah, it's funny because like part of it becomes a joke. Like, okay, like yeah, we all PWEDC like a micro Uzi, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But that X-ray that I showed is actually from an article where a guy shoved a 10-inch, is a 6-inch barrel, 38 special Smith and Wesson square butt, dude.
What it had to be sticking out, right? The barrel went up. It had to be cupping his balls, I imagine. There's the only way it's possible.
Completely
no way!
Inside.
How?
He got through 2 strip searches completely. And get this, how many rounds do you think were in there?
I mean, it's a 6-shot, right?
It's a 6-shot.
Did he put more in?
It was empty.
Why was it empty? Why would he have it in?
People are so stupid.
He brought a pistol in with no rounds.
Exactly.
He stirred a pistol with no ammo.
Yes. It's so bad. And like the worst thing is that they found a bunch of like drugs and drug paraphernalia. Like, dude, why didn't you load the cylinders with your meth bags? Like,
how big is your butthole though? Like, I could not comfortably fit a Just think of the mechanics. It has to curve at some point to get in there.
I know. I could like it was unbelievable until it's like police like sharing their side of the story. Like, well, I couldn't believe it, dude. It's nuts. And then, of course, yeah, there's a story of the woman that carried like a 25 ACP or 32 ACP.
I think that's what it was up her gun.
Yeah, and then it discharged.
Oh shit! She got shot by it. No, I didn't know that one.
Well, so luckily the barrel was pointing outside. She did get injured, but
could you imagine like the height of self-defense? You just clap your knees together and bang. Yeah, just off it goes.
Yeah, and if it's a Taurus, you could just sit down.
That's it. You shake really hard and
it'll dump the whole mag.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I've showed people that video. People are like, I don't understand what you mean. I'm like, go watch the Taurus out of Brazil, the Brazilian police Taurus. He just like holy shit. It's like that's why I have friends don't let friends buy Tauruses because of that.
Just don't ever. So a lot of times 2A EDU will come in here. Don't ever let him hear that we don't support Taurus 100% because he is like over the moon in love with Taurus.
The American made ones are pretty. The American made ones and the Beretta clones.
Yes,
off of the original Beretta tooling they're pretty good guns.
See,
plus they have a thumb safety on the side instead of a decocker. Way better.
So you could PWEDC it because it'd be safe.
Yeah. I can't imagine getting the grip of the gun in there.
I know.
I would have the grip. I would keister the grip so it would gently cup the balls. Because how do you get a grip turned sideways up your butt? That's just how does that work?
It doesn't make logical sense. Like
it doesn't.
The amount of pain that they would be like, I can't. And then what? Like, do you just like not drop a deuce for several days? Like, do you not eat? Do you not drink? Like, how do you walk?
I've never thought this far into it, but yeah, I feel like you would walk like a cowboy or something.
We had an entire stream that lasted nearly 3 hours that was exclusively about prison wallet everyday carry. And you could tell when we're like, okay, hey, like, what's your PWEDC? And some people are like, mine's a North American Arms Pug, mine's, and it's kind of like funny. Mine's a Sky. And then one person's like, mine is an X-Acto knife, 3 matches, and a cigar tube. And I'm like, oh, okay,
that makes sense. I was going to say something
you
like
actually carry that shit.
Something like a trench knife with a shield on it, because then all you got to do is bend over and pull, and you got your dagger. You're ready to go.
Your knucks.
With the brass knuckles on the front. Yeah, you're ready to fight with a trench knife.
Hell yeah!
God, I don't physically understand how you can get the grip in. Like you have to. It's gotta go. No, I can't figure that out.
I mean, I guess like everything, like once you get through Everything is so soft and squishy.
He
Like,
must have used. It must have just been coated in KY. That's the
yeah,
only possible
I was
way.
thinking he was in there like,
Yeah. Oh God.
like
Oh God. No. He'd been saving his spit for a week just so he could use it.
like with the speed that he did it too. Like he got pulled over and he was probably like, "Oh no!" Dunk, and just
Yeah. Oh God.
dropped on
Oh
it.
God.
Like,
You imagine you got to
oh,
push a fart out. You're like, oh God. Oh God. It's go.
it's like click.
Oh, we're good. Oh, empty chamber. We're set.
Oh, I put a pin gun in my urethra. Oh God.
God, what is wrong with you
So
people?
perforated.
Yeah. He's
Dude,
got
that's what I'm
buttons
saying.
on either side where he can unsnap it and ugh.
Yeah, right. Dude, bro, there was one where the woman, like clearly in the x-ray, she was carrying a Kimber Micro, I think a 9 mil or 380, one of the two. And you could tell that it was like perforating her uterus. Like
No.
she probably won't be able to have children because she slammed a 9 millimeter in her vag.
Have you ever seen the medical video of a toy coming out of somebody's abdomen? So it couldn't come out the regular end. They had to go into surgery and C-section a toy out of somebody. I shit you not, it was like this big around. I don't know how it got in, but once it was in there, it wasn't coming back out. They had to go into surgery. And the video is you're looking, the patient's like laying down, and the surgeon has this thing that he's pulling on, and it ends up being a sex toy that he is like, and it's about, I shit you not, it's about a foot long, and it's probably 6 inches in diameter that they pull out of somebody's intestines.
Okay, well, you
I
guys
don't
know how we get down.
understand.
Ugh. Okay, so hang on for 1 second.
It's after midnight. This shit's gotten real weird real fast.
Oh, it's about to get weirder. C-section sex toy.
It was hold on. God fuck if I could ever find it. It was bloody. Oh, it was.
Okay, no, that's not it. Surgically.
Doctors had to surgically. I think this might be it. This is it. You find it?
I think so.
It
Doctors.
is. Yes, it's in a different language.
Is it stainless steel?
Oh, the toy itself is white.
Okay, so this one is a different one, apparently.
There's multiple. If there's a way, let me grab. I'll send you a link on your phone.
She's so proud. She's holding it. She's so happy.
That might be the same video. Dude. It's a blonde toy. It's a.
All right, hold on.
I got the link. Let me pull up my recent tabs.
Doctors remove 4-inch stainless steel sex toy
not stainless,
in
not
woman's
stainless.
rectum.
This is dark here. Paste. There you go. Check your phone.
Oh, great. So this is.
I don't know why this is on my Google search history now, but it's large dildo surgically removed. We'll bring the article up.
Oh God.
Oh my God, she is very proud of that.
Yes, look at her.
I would never want my face associated with this ever.
No.
Ever.
Okay, let's see. So I'm going to take that.
Oh, it is.
How bad do you think it'll be if I was going to screen share it?
It's medical. It's just it's a medical procedure. I don't know if that's disallowed on YouTube. I have no idea.
Okay, well, let's
it would be like having a video of somebody getting their gallbladder taken out or something like that. It's
that's not too bad.
Abdominal surgery, but you gotta see the thing coming out.
Oh, okay. We're about to watch it together, guys.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
With it. I mean, we can't now that we brought it up. Like, how could we not? You know, just remind me at the end of the stream to clear my browser history.
Yeah.
Because, my wife's gonna be like, "Why are you looking up?
Why are you watching
dildos?" Yeah. Hey, and Bob, if you're watching, dude, I'm sorry I hadn't gotten back to you yet, man. I apologize.
The end is near. Beware says you are already yellow dollars.
Yeah, yeah.
That's happening here.
Oh,
Yeah, you saw it, huh?
oh.
What did I say? 6 inches round, 8 inches long. I can't believe I could shock you. I can't believe I was able to shock you. Oh, Lord.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. That came out of somebody's intestines. Ooh. I don't know. I don't. This is the type of person that could get a Desert Eagle into prison.
It
You
is.
might be able to get a mini Draco into prison.
I know, right? At least a micro Uzi, especially
Yeah,
since
micro
we've been
Uzi, no problem.
BWE on so much. Like we're all about Uzis now. Which, by the way, he is going to build me an Uzi. And
BWE is the premier expert on Uzis. If you guys have questions on Uzis, he can talk for hours on how an Uzi works.
Oh yeah,
he hates the MP5, which makes me real sad because that's my favorite subgun.
Is it really?
I love the MP5. Oh, I have an SBR, and anytime Safety Harbor Firearms comes up, I always borrow his trigger pack and shoot it full auto because it is
nice.
So much fun.
Dude, I've always wanted an MP5, but I settled for the Czechoslovakian MP5.
It's a good gun. Direct blowback and roller delay are two different things, though. Two totally.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
You're gonna show. Oh, yeah. Here's medical. Here's medical stuff.
So as you guys will see, we're going to be reviewing some medical footage today.
Yes, this is proper surgery technique.
Yep. I want all of you to strap
a learning experience on
up.
Being a surgeon firsthand.
Yep. Oh, what the hell?
It's a vertical video, so you only get so much. You have to do it like that, I think.
Can you guys still see it? Okay. Let me see
I can see it. Oh, now it's gone.
Oops.
Now I'm back.
Oopsie
now I'm
daisies.
gone. Oh, there it is. There it is. Hit play. It'll come. It'll happen.
Okay. There we go.
Now it's full screen. You got to get rid of Joe Morrison's. Well, actually, perforated colon is probably a very appropriate thing to leave there.
Oh, damn it. The freaking banner, too.
I don't know if Toxic Patch wants to be associated.
I know, right? Okay, guys, say your prayers. Strap up, strap on.
I'm not exaggerating when I talked about dimensions of this thing.
Oh, God. So what you're seeing here is a typical procedure. It's so funny that the nurses are like giggling in the back. Like
this is what we call a San Francisco C-section.
Ah, okay. I was curious as to.
That's the technical term for it.
Oh!
Look.
The tool
have to
he's
cut
using
so
is
much intestine.
Oh God! The tool he's using is a scalpel.
He's giving birth. Look at it. It's the joys of life.
I wonder. I wish I knew what they were saying.
I know it's in Italian or something.
Oh!
Look, he has to like two-hand that monster.
Oh, they're dying.
They're now three-handing it and four-handing it.
Oh! Oh
God! Oh, you got to get the balls out too. Don't forget about that part.
Oh no! There's balls.
I think so. I think there are. I can't remember. This is fucking incredible. This is the best stream I think I've ever been on. No, they're no.
Oh my God! It's a boy.
Look at this. Look at the people in the background taking pictures.
Look at the dude with the phone.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh fuck me. That was it right there.
Oh my God.
That was the highlight of my Saturday night. Whew.
Oh my Christ Almighty.
Thirsty Cult says God has truly left us. Oh God. Oh, you're gonna make me cry. Oh Jesus, you're gonna make me cry.
Oh man.
And Flying Rich is still around. He actually watched it too. No, for Rich has never seen my sense of humor. Now you get to see what the fuck I look at on a random ass night.
Oh, John Rice. I don't know how long you've been here.
Oh, God. Oh God, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna fucking die. Oh Jesus.
God, I don't remember this scene from Aliens. Oh my God, dude.
I think I'm sweating.
Weapon of ass destruction.
Oh
Oh my
Lord. Could you
God.
imagine? Could you imagine the moment that slipped past the and you're like, oh Lord.
Oh. Dude, there have been times where like oh God, where like I've like been, constipated, like, oh man, this is like the worst thing I've ever experienced.
That's the feeling right there.
Oh God.
Oh man.
I think that's a good note to shut her down.
Yeah, you can start wrapping up on that one. That was
yeah.
I don't know that it could get much better or worse than that. Right
Or I mean, I think it's probably the coolest thing we've ever done on stream. Aside from building an explosive, that was one of the coolest. Dong delivery 101. Yep. I've heard of hogs legs, but T-Rex legs. Wow. Yeah.
Oh God.
I'm grateful that you shared that with me, and I'm also really regretting it at the same time.
Oh God, I just don't whoever thought that was a good idea.
Honestly, it's probably some Chuck Norris Gun Club Draco for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Easily fit a mini Draco in there.
Yeah, dude. The funny thing is, like he's probably like a person, he, she, whomever is probably a person who like does like those crazy like videos, for money, like a cam.
Oh yeah, they got baited into this for $100, and then we're like, oh God, it's gone. Oh yeah. God, it's not coming back out.
Yep. And then the B-hole just goes
whoop right around it.
Like, oh shit.
Oh dude. God.
Oh,
and nothing that could, no matter what, there's no money in the world that can make that worth it ever.
The amount of damage, like,
yeah,
how much of your intestines did they have to remove after that? Like,
it's got to be. Your intestines are not made to stretch to that.
No, and then like, what do you say? Hi, I'm here. I think I may have a blockage. Like, what the fuck? Like,
supposedly, I've never worked in an ER, but supposedly, things up people's butts, very common in an ER. Multiple times a week.
There was that one guy who had a jar break in his ass.
Oh, yes, I know exactly what he's talking about. Oh. We will not watch that video on stream because that would get this. Your channel would be gone instantly.
Yeah.
Yep. I know exactly what video he's talking about.
At least that was like a medical, like.
This is medical science. This is we following the science here. Do not put things that large up your butt.
Yeah. Like when we talk about PWEDC, guys, we're joking.
Not that.
Just so you know, like.
Oh Lord.
Oh man, that was impressive.
Can you imagine taking a shit after something like that? You're just
everything just falls out.
It just falls right out. Yeah, just right out.
Do an Olympic dive with it anchored. Oh man. Well, I've had a blast chatting with you, man.
I anytime you want me back, I am more than happy to come back and talk shit. So.
I have a feeling that you're going to be one of the most requested return guests. We do give every guest the honor of naming the stream. So you get the honor of naming the stream, whatever you'd like. We can.
I have to come up with it right now.
We could name it "Fuck Me." We actually, when we had Cody Wilson on, we said the same thing to him, and we had said, "Hey, we give every guest the honor of naming the stream," and he was like, "Shit, fuck." We're like, "Okay, shit, fuck." There we go.
A lesson in surgical procedures.
Ooh, okay, I like that. Let's see if I can edit it now. I think I might have to come back after.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. A lesson in surgical procedures.
You got it. It's yours, man.
And everybody's going to be like, anybody that wasn't live here will be like, what the fuck is what?
Yeah,
and they get to the last 10 minutes and they're like, oh, God.
Yeah, right. They're going to go like hug their family.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah. Yeah.
Go
get your Bibles out, gentlemen. You may need them tonight.
Oh yeah. Channel canceled. Yep,
yeah,
for sure. So go ahead and plug yourself again. Remind everyone where they can find you.
YouTube.com/babyfaceP is where I post the most. Well, Well, I post once a week there. Typically on Mondays, I have a Monday thing I'll post up. If you want to see the crazy stuff that just the things that I get up to on the day to day, it's Instagram is baby_faceP. And that's where I do a lot of my like day to day shit posting of gun stuff.
Nice, awesome, man. Cool. Well, everybody in chat, thank you for
I was
joining.
Tip my hat.
Yeah, no, I'll join voice chat for a little bit tonight. Yeah, I'll join you guys. Oh, and I'll
send me the
share
link. I would be
Discord.
more than happy. I'm gonna play a little Diablo. I'm too jacked up now. There's no going to sleep for another hour.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'll shoot you over the link.
Okay.
It's not something that we like share publicly.
Mhm.
We've learned that lesson.
I am honored to be included in the private Discord.
You are gonna have a blast. Everyone, be nice to him, okay?
Just believe me, I've seen plenty of shit. So
Yeah, I'm gonna have nightmares of aliens now. Yeah. So here's what I'll say. I'll end on this, guys. You guys know that every time I come on here, I always mention like, you know, a good person, a good man has standards and rules. And I always say rule number 1 is be kind. And I would encourage all of you guys to remind yourself to be kind, to be just a good person that lives a life of care, compassion, and contribution. You know, contribute to others around you. And also, at the same time, make sure that you remain to practice violence and be as dangerous as you possibly fucking can be. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, love y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Peace. See you guys.